came out on top. Wow, what a save. Oh, he's another one!
Well, how are we? How are we going? Welcome to Octane Online Racing. It's the Sprint Series and it is the final night of our split round of racing here. For 2021, finals is going to be on in fortnight's time, and tonight we're going to crown a couple of champions. But first, let me introduce you tonight to my co-commentators, Braden Ross and Glenn Germain. How are we, gentlemen?
Oh, good, Malik. How are you, mate?
Always well want to hear your voice.
Glenn, how are you, mate?
Glenn's had enough of us already. That's fair. Don't blame him.
Well, I guess he's pushed to talk.
Maybe. Maybe he's nodded off. Either way, he's gone.
There he goes.
Well, look what you've done, Braden. Look what you've gone and done. Oh, how you been, mate? Congratulations last night on your Pro-Am Championship.
Thank you. I'm pretty stoked about it, to be honest. I went into the season with a goal of getting top 3 in Pro-Am, so obviously achieved that. Didn't think I'd win it, but there you go. And I'm going to soak it up because I think this is the last time I'm going to see P1 for a long time in sim racing. I'm just going to have to work extra hard.
Oh, you heard it, mate. You did fantastic. And a shout out to Thomas McInnes, who couldn't quite get the result he was after last night against Braden, but still a stellar season and still finals yet to come.
Look, if it means anything, he stressed me out more than anything for the week leading up to the race because he was in the OP car around the circuit, the McLaren. So I grinded tooth and nail to try and get the pace, and then come race day, I hear from one of the other drivers that he hasn't really even practiced or anything. He just didn't have the time to do it.
Yep.
So he came in a little bit rusty. I'm like, well, I stressed out and I've put in so many hours to like try and solidify this win. Still wasn't too sure, and yeah, he obviously didn't get a chance to do it. So I'm glad we got to have an on-track fight. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, qualifying was a bit garbage for me, but I think with my garbage qualifying, it did deliver the battle on track. So it was worth it.
Nah, well done, mate.
I'm here, lads.
G'day, Glenn.
I've made it. Sorry.
Got him.
That's fine. That's fine.
Pressed the wrong button at the wrong time.
We're
Good
very
start to the night.
concerned.
And congrats. Yeah, I'll double up those congrats to you, Braden.
Thanks,
Good
mate.
job.
Do I talk for another 5 minutes about it?
Oh, look, I'm sure we can fit in another 5 before the end of the
I've got no more
end
words
of
to
our
say.
broadcast.
More importantly, we should probably touch upon the people that are contending for championship results tonight. So I was looking at the table. So with Pro, we got Andy O'Hara, of course, sitting on 512 points. Mathematically, everyone in the top 4 of those standings can win the championship. So that'll be JP in P2, Michael Young in P3, Lachlan Henderson P4. So mathematically, they can all do it. But they kind of need to bank on Andy O'Hara having a pretty terrible race. So we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, there's Pro-Am Championships going on as well. Even the AM Championship is very close. But I'll get into that a little bit later.
That's what we like to see. That's what we like to see. It's actually worked pretty well, the 6 rounds and the drop round. Every single championship is going to come down to the final race, which is what we wanted.
Yeah, big fan of it. Big fan of that new format.
Thanks,
Is
mate.
it new?
Yes, drop round's new, and we've obviously cut it from 9 to 6 and extended the finals by a week. So make a bit more of a spectacle of the best of the best.
Yeah, good call. I think it's it's obviously spiced things up a little bit across all splits. So yeah, can't say that you're wrong about making that move.
Last night was pretty good. It was pretty good. There was a comment on one of our YouTube videos that sort of made my day. Someone quoted what I said last night in one of the splits and said it was the best call he's ever heard. But all I said was yeetus deletus.
Yes.
You've used that a couple of times actually.
Oh mate, it's one of my favourites.
Put it on the bingo card.
You should put it. But thank you to that person that put that in there. That was. This is awfully close to qualifying. Don't know what's going on here. I would assume that they're both on qualifying laps and 64's just made a bit of a mistake. Yep, so there we go. Marcus showing some experience there and just backed off. As Andy O'Hara has set the fastest time so far for the round in his second hot lap.
Just want to say a moment, mate. Can we get that broadcast shared?
Oh, you can, mate. Sorry, EA Sports over here. Forgot to. How's that? Beautiful, man.
That's better.
There we go.
I'll have some more useful commentary here. What's going on in the corner there?
I don't know!
Oh,
Who is that?
someone's yeeted over the fence already.
Speaking of yeetus deletus,
It's Senekas.
that's yeetus
Seneca's
evictus.
That's of the JP variety as well. It's P2. What's going on there? I hope that's not connection issues.
Well, it's not a good connection, if that's what you're asking.
No.
Check. That's
Oh, good connection to the fence.
It's
yeah.
disappeared.
That is Senecas, however you want to say it. He's got disconnection.
Yeah.
What a
He'll be back.
brilliant way to do it, though.
He's got plenty of time to rejoin, but I feel like he's not going to be starting where he wants to start in the back. He's going to have a bit of an uphill battle. Just on board with Villanueva at the moment, who's on an invalid lap. I just 2.5 pence up, so that would have been good for no positions, unfortunately. But plenty of time to go again. Whoa!
Coming too quickly.
Right, no harm done there. Both drivers invalid.
John's just said that his electricity's cut out.
Oh,
No.
Get that hamster, pull it off the wheel, put a new one on.
Congratulations, Andy O'Hara, for P1. The championship.
Oh, you didn't, did you?
I've cursed
You
him.
didn't, did you? That's a fair curse if that happens now.
I have a bit of a fun story.
Andrew O'Hara, Braden Ross.
I was talking to Andy about half an hour ago, and I asked him, like, what's the story behind using number 23? And he gave me the best answer. He said, I don't know. There's no reason, really. I suppose he just likes the number. And then Dan Hunter jumps in and says, it's because he hasn't got the number 1 plate. That's why he uses 23.
Yeah, he wants that back.
On trash.
He lost out by 1 point last year to Zachary Smith. So finals, he's going to want the number 1 back. Which is a cool little nifty little thing we've added, that you get to use the number 1 if you're the pro class champion. As Harding's just backed off. Everyone that I've gone to has backed off their lap or
I
deleted
found that
themselves.
it's not easy to find your own little track space during qualifying. Obviously, depending on how many cars are on circuit. We've got 31 tonight, possibly 32 if JP makes it back. But yeah, qualifying with that many cars, it is hard to find a space. You've really got to spread yourselves out efficiently if you want to get the track space to set the lap.
is it true that Andy was seen with a pair of pliers outside JP's house?
It'd be a big fuck off tractor, I reckon. Just taking out a power pole nearby.
We've just seen Tyson come through. He's 2.5 seconds up the pace. He just jumped the pits to put on a fresh set of tyres, and he's going to go out again. He'll have 1 lap to be able to improve on that. The time that we've got left in qualifying.
Got Raggy there putting in a really good lap in the high 53s or just early 54s.
Yeah, very impressive. On board with Marcus Van Vliet as well, who's 1.9 seconds behind the pace, but he's half a second up. Now, Van Vliet is currently sitting P1 for Pro-Am at the moment, very closely tailed by Raggy, with 20 points being the margin. So they're going to be 2 drivers to watch as well. Sitting P3 Pro-Am, Brian Green is 73 points from Raggy. We've got Villanueva, 24 points from Green in P4, and Shane Santa McClaws, only 6 points from Villanueva, sitting in P5.
Beautiful.
So, mathematically, Pro-Am is still wide open. It's 123 points spread between the top 5.
this could be a good battle between those two. Van Vliet has now jumped up to 7th and Raggy's 5th, so they're likely to start pretty close together.
You'll love to see it.
Yep.
Hopefully JP's internet goes back on the next 3 or 4 minutes. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if he got a lap in. He must have. He must have got a lap in. Or did he cut out for him, which is going to make me start at the back, which is hard yakka.
Yeah, even rejoining to the server, it may force him to pit lane, which will also have a bit of a controls locked kind of scenario going. I'm not too sure what the rules are on rejoining and moving to the race session.
If you set a lap, it'll put him on the grid. If he joins during formation lap, it'll put him in the pits.
Yeah, and he will go the most part of a lap down, because what's controls like? It'll be about a minute.
Nah, it's fine before the race starts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nah, it'll be fine, but yeah, he'll just have that disadvantage of starting from the pit lane. And he'll just have, fingers crossed, he'll be waiting for a safety car, which is a fair chance here at the Nurburgring.
Yeah, turn 1's a bit of a doozy. There's a lot of people that like to take the inside, and it's a very tight corner, so you're better off being on the outside at turn 1 most of the time, because you can take that really wide berth and get that nice exit and push to the inside for turn 2. You see Andy getting really squirrely out of the chicane, but he's given up on that lap straight away and set himself up for one last flying lap as we are about to close qualifying session. So drivers that are still on a lap, this will be their last lap.
You can see here Michael Young is up, but he has a car ahead of him also on a hot lap, so they don't have to move out of the way. This is just unfortunate, and that's going to cost Michael his lap, but there's not much you can do about it. Qualifying in a nutshell.
Yeah, he's backed off, which is a good move. I think a few drivers would get the temptation to try and go for the overtake and maybe make a miracle run through the chicane there, but it's not good cricket. So backing off and giving up there and just settling for P6 provisionally was probably the smart thing to do.
Henderson approved. Nice move. Jumps his friend Conan, Ashley Reynolds. About 4 or 5 left on the circuit at the moment, just finishing their laps. I'd imagine the last one will be car 42, which is Dylan Tyquin. We've got Shane McLaws, Daniel O'Donnell and Malith Atsanyaki all yet to set a lap, but I think they might be serving a qualifying ban. So they're going to be starting from the back for this race, and the safety car is obviously beautifully placed in the pits, ready to take this grid around, as that lap was invalidated there by 93, and that, I think, maybe is the cause, or maybe it was Tyquin. Either way, here we go. Race session. It's going to be a night race if you haven't been paying attention last night. And looks very similar conditions to what we saw last night as well.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to lie. There's a few drivers that were caught out by it being a nice night session. Didn't actually look into that. Me being one of them. All
you need to do is look at the next round. It should be there for you. Should. Being the operative word.
Right, so we have some qualifying points to factor in here. Andy O'Hara's picked up another 5 nifty points that'll help him, help his cause. Also Raggy got a +1 there, so that'll help Pro-Am Championship.
Yeah, great start there by Raggy.
Yeah.
So what's the difference in points between McConnell and Van Fleet? Actually, I might have that sheet that Sam was posting.
It is now standing at 19 points difference between McConnell and Van Vliet after that qualifying edition.
Beautiful.
I took the liberty of opening up one of the greatest programs ever made, Notepad. And I have all of the standings and deficits here right in front of me. Just trying to save a little bit of time on maths.
Someone's got to do it, mate.
I thought you were going to tell us you're doing it all in your head.
No, not
There's
quite.
no way that Braden Ross Trady, the interior decorator designer, is doing that math in his head. There's no way. I love you, Braden, but there's no way.
You'd be surprised. I'm actually fantastic at maths.
You probably are. You also got an amazing voice, mate.
Oof. Thank you. You should hear me sing, though. Terrible.
You're too cool to sing for us on stream, though. But that's fine. That's fine. I'll get a few beers in you one day.
Look, I'm just not for free. That's all I can tell you.
You're being paid? G'day, chat. So unfortunately, that means JP looks to be out of the race tonight. Hate to see it. Big sads. But he's going to be in the final series, so that just means he's got a couple of chances here for Young to possibly maybe jump JP. JP's drop round would have been a 30, but now it's going to be a 0. So that's a big sads. Because all the other rounds, the other 4 rounds out of the 5 that he's done have been sensational.
Yeah, so in saying that, next person in line sitting in P3 is Michael Young. Oh, I haven't even done the maths for this yet. There's a 118-point deficit between him and O'Hara. So it's a big stretch, but Michael Young has had some pretty decent results this season, and we have seen O'Hara have a little bit of sadness throughout the season as well.
Take nothing away from Michael, but Andy O'Hara is going to have to explode himself to not get enough points tonight. Actually, what's his lowest round so far? Andy's is an 8. Oh, he had a 0.
Yeah, he had a 0. Was that Zolda?
Yep.
I believe he collected a spinning backmarker Porsche.
That's right.
Nothing either car could do, but yeah, obviously it was a pretty bad situation to be in. So
another 0
it's
here.
not unheard of.
Another 0 here will cost him. So he just needs to get some decent points. Because his lowest round so far is an 85, and that was at Zolda. The other one, 158, 111. So he's got a couple of wins. Great to see. But yeah, my eyes is on the McConnell versus Van Vliet battle tonight. I reckon that's going to be spicy. And I'm going to go on board with Raggy as we get ready to start this race. And who was that? Do you want me to call the start?
Well, I mean, do you want it to be a good start?
Well, actually, last night, thank you very much.
You were a winner.
One of the better starts I've ever seen. I was shocked.
I'll prove it.
All right, I'll prove it. I'll back it up right here.
Someone get the click button ready.
No, you won't need it. You will not need it.
Yellow was really clean, wasn't it?
Certainly was.
It's a ripper.
Alrighty. Split Blue, final race for 2021, Season 7. A couple of championships to be decided tonight before our final series in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully we have a nice clean start. Turn 1 at Nurburgring is always a bit of a how's your father. How are we going to go tonight? We're away. Nice start there by Van Vliet. He's going to put the pressure on Raggy straight away. But that McLaren says, "Nup, see you later. I will have this corner." He's going to defend inside very heavily. Gets on the brakes, has a look at Andrew. Good decision against that. But we'll just filter through here and hope that we have a nice clean start. I haven't seen any yellows pop up so far. Couple of little niggles. 4 wide. Oh, I don't like to see it. Tell you what, that Porsche's done extremely well there to dance his way around the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the slippiest parts of the circuit, even in the dry. So being all the way out there and getting on the throttle on cold tyres, that was impressive to keep the car together. Still going 2 by 2. We're looking at Harding alongside. Who's that? Is that Harding alongside Scanlon? Oh, sorry.
Rodder.
Yeah, correct. My apologies.
You see them single file already. Extremely close. Don't want to curse it, but this is looking pretty good. They've all left it to the last round to just show a bit of poise, a bit of patience. It's quite easy to get caught up.
Turn 1 for McConnell and Van Vliet were just two opposite ends of the spectrum. Because Raggy was so far up the pack and he only had a couple of cars ahead of him, he was able to drop the anchors out super late and make that corner and make the best of the pace at the start of the race. Whereas Van Vliet had a lot of cars around him and obviously had to tiptoe around turn 1 and turn 2, and he's lost out a few positions on his way through.
And oh,
It's Raggy's
Michael
off.
Young!
Michael Young has been tapped. That was Herbert coming through in the Bentley and through the chicane.
No, I think that was actually. It was. Where's Van Vliet gone? Did he not miss? Oh, he has missed out. So Herbert's come from 5th, 7th. That'll be looked into. There was. It happened all pretty quickly. That chicane's a bit of a disaster at times. All to do with turning points there rather than just your brake marker. But 156 is in the pits. That's Atanyaki. I don't know what's happened with him. Don't think that's a strategy call because it's a bold move, Cotton.
Yeah, you wouldn't put it down to accidentally going out on quali fuel either, because in that situation you kind of just run the quali fuel out and try and go long for the end.
Yeah, also, Andy O'Hara must have made a mistake because Reynolds, P1. So we will watch this back shortly, the replays. We'll stay live for the first couple of laps. Severus looking quite pacey here in the Bentley. Van Fleet makes him earn it. You can't quite get it done. Scotty Blair's right behind two in the Lamborghini. He's not a shy man. Made a very uncharacteristic mistake last week, and there's here for some redemption. We'll just open up a bit of a gap between Blair and the next best in Rodder. So O'Connell and Van Vliet, that Pro-Am Championship battle, separated by a couple of positions. We'll go back up to the pointy end because it's not. It happens often when Andrew O'Hara has some clean air that he loses the position. So I'm not sure if it was self-inflicted or assisted. But good to see Reynolds taking the fight to him.
Yeah, Reynolds isn't going to let this one go. So, although Raggy has had a brilliant start, were you interjecting with something there, Marley?
Yes. Sorry, it was me. Looks like Reynolds and O'Hara went side by side through T2 and 3 first lap, and Reynolds won out.
Nice.
Well, yeah, so Raggy and Van Vliet, as they stand at the moment, Van Vliet will still be able to take the crown for the Pro-Am Championship. However, Raggy did put in a fantastic qualifying lap, but he does have some very quick drivers around him that he's going to have to defend against.
Oh, that's a bit of a pile-up. 3 wide in that corner, gentlemen. It's
That
never
was
going to
Ferguson, Kingston, I think Villanueva may have been involved in that as well. Just not enough real estate. And there's too many cars trying to fit through there. Jules have to have a look at that one and see what the hell went wrong. Just following along with Neil Wood at the moment, currently our class leader. He has a margin of 51 points to the next nearest driver in P2, which is Nick Miller. But between Nick Miller, Phil Vernon, David Mason, and Dale Lawson, there is about a 6-point margin between those 4 drivers for P2.
Sorry, there. 2 seconds, Braden. That's a disaster. Very late move there from Mr. Riley. Ambitious. But if you're going to dive like that, got to make sure you don't make contact. You couldn't miss this car, though. Look how bright it is. Oh, that's not where you should be parking your bus. And no! David Mason! Got a bit spooked by the McLaren in the middle of the track, and you can't really blame him. Ends up in
really
the fence.
Hard hit as well. Yeah, there's going to be a fair bit of damage on that Bentley. He's going to have to get that fixed pretty quick, smart, and try and run long towards the end, because that hit was pretty hard. And Bentley can take a little bit of a beating, but something that hard, you'll feel it quite a bit, and it's going to affect the lap time. O'Hara is putting on the pressure with Reynolds as well. O'Hara's just set the fastest lap of the race so far. I believe it was a 54.3. So quite an impressive race pace lap. Running about half a tank of fuel, maybe a little bit more in the Ferrari. Reynolds is going to have to defend his little heart out to try and keep O'Hara behind. And it doesn't matter how quick the driver behind you is, you're not going to give up P1 easily.
This is the final chicane. Michael Young just loses the rears and comes back across. I don't think Herbert can do much else there. Young's just lost his car. He's picked up that posse.
Yes, that won't be helping Michael Young in his campaign whatsoever. He's currently all the way down in P20. Meanwhile, just behind him in the championship is Henderson. Henderson's sitting P3, so it could be a little bit of a switch up in the standings there. See how the race pans out though. We're only 8 minutes in. A lot more to go.
Race start back. So no mistakes were made. It was just hard, close racing between O'Hara and Reynolds. Reynolds has gone the inside, so he gets the outside, and then the inside again for turn 2. And they go side by side all the way through this section, playing Sim Racing Chicken. Who's going to back out first? They're still side by side. This is where it gets really dangerous. O'Hara pulled out and tucks in behind, and that's how the move was made. It's in the background, bit of argy-bargy. Reynolds puts the pressure on the outside here over O'Hara. That's a tough spot to get the overtake. And he couldn't quite get the move done. As you can see for the lead, it's still Reynolds P1, O'Hara P2.
Yeah, there was some fantastic driving by both of those drivers there at race start, both on cold tyres as well. Who are keeping it nice and clean and not even having a little bit of wheel banging. That was some nice driving to watch. And yeah, Reynolds obviously put that overtake on merit, so well done to him.
Yep. We could be in for another Bakita Hurley stoush like we had last night, which lasted pretty much the whole race. Wouldn't that be good?
Oh, it'd be stellar.
Yeah, I was in the box seat having a listen to those two talk to each other while they were racing, and Bakita was just pretty much asking him to slow down a number of times. Obviously, a difference in pace in the two cars that they're in. We're just watching a replay. This is the replay incident we saw just before coming into turn 3. Just too many cars, not enough real estate.
Wasn't much.
Ryan Green through the middle there. Threading the eye. The gates are about to open up. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, Ryan Green, big winner in that one. That's 3 positions in one corner.
Oh, just in the background, Kingston.
That's a big slide.
Oh, hello. Someone's coming to join in. Is that Scanlon? No, it's a Mercedes.
Siciliano.
Bit of oil on the track, perhaps.
Oil in the chicane.
Good for young and old. We've got Simon Scanlon, who needs to still explain to me why his team name is Venom Racing. Isn't Venom the arch rival of Spider-Man or something? Not up to speed with my comics, but
If that's the case, I love it.
no, he's really uncommitted to the Spidey name, as he just says here, Spencer, have a spot. You're a gentleman, Spidey. Let's just go down to Lawson. This track's not easy to overtake on, but there are opportunities, turn 1 being the best one.
Yeah, absolutely. Turn 1 is definitely the best one. Yeah, as you said, there's a couple of other spots. Coming into the chicane is another overtaking spot, but you want to make sure that you've got it done by the time you enter the chicane. Because if you're still going side by side through there, it's going to turn into sadness for either one or both of the drivers. So yeah, it's a bit of a big balls play for the chicane overtake. But if you can get it done, it's quite a good spot to do it.
The yellow flag on Mason just getting out of the way. And retiring, perhaps. Yep, returning
Yeah, there he goes
pits.
off to the pits.
It is hard yakking when you're a lap down. Especially when you don't quite feel comfortable maybe on track, or just not feeling it with the car tonight. Very Very spicy through this chicane, some of these cars. Very loose.
Yeah, Siciliano just looked like he was about to lose the rear for a moment. He's fighting the car to keep it pointing in a straight line.
All of them are very loose in the rear. Too much Vindaloo last night, perhaps. It happens.
Big winner at the start has been Dan O'Donnell, who's started down at about 28th, 29th, and is up to 14th already.
The man's a machine. Oh, he actually is. I don't think he's human. He's a robot.
I've seen him dance on his stream. He's definitely not a human.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's definitely very entertaining to watch on his stream. Very colourful man.
F in chat though for his wheel hub or his quick release. Never seen a man actually punch it and break it. It sounds like something I would have done 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, I did see that floating around on Twitter.
It's pretty funny.
And it reminded me of a video I'd seen of a Top Fuel drag racer who launched off the line and his wheel came off. What do you do when you've instantly gone to what, 250, 300 kilometers an hour and your wheel's off?
Just try and slow it up as much as you can. Use every single thing you got in your power to stop going forward. Gears, brakes, words.
Shut your eyes and change your undies.
Basically.
I'd probably try and grab the shaft and just steer it like...
Oh, Jesus, I don't think it's going to help you, mate. That's after midnight, mate.
Yeah, you should see the hand actions I was doing as well while I was explaining that. No one could see it, but I can.
So it's going to come down to the pit stop. By the way, these two are driving. Reynolds, a very clean driver. One of my personal favourites out there is Ashley Reynolds. I had some very good battles with him. One of my last races I had, unfortunately, I lost the rear of my car at Donington.
I remember that. That was the best.
And collected him.
No, that was that was sadness. I was actually quite upset seeing that.
It was strange that whole race. I think I'd reset my setup because how it felt. It's just I was just so loose through there and trying to hold off Reynolds and defend cleanly, and then my car just kicked out from me, which I hadn't done the whole time in practice. And yeah, unfortunately, sometimes when you lose it, you just collect someone else, and it was Reynolds.
Yeah, I remember you saying that there was not really much explaining behind why the car was so loose, because I don't think there was any cars close ahead either, so it wasn't like dirty air was a factor.
Yeah, there was a little bit of wind, but I never really noticed it in the game. It was just I think I just reset the setup somehow, like I'm up at... It happens, because I do switch between race and qualifying setups, and I think I might have selected the wrong one.
You are a bit of a wally.
Oh dear. Van Vliet can't get past Piper. And Raggy, as in B. McConnell, defending brilliantly at the moment. It's sitting at P5. So if he holds on to 5th, Braden, does he win the championship in the Pro-Am class?
Raggy holds on to 5th and Van Vliet holds on to 7th. No.
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 There's only 10 points difference between 5th and 7th, 95 and 85 points respectively. And there is a 19-point margin between the two drivers.
Interesting. So I'm going to throw these numbers into my little calculator here. Oops, that's the wrong keyboard, Mark. 85 smackaroonies for Van Vliet. McConnell will pick up 95, as you said. He's got 1 bonus point for qualifying. Oh, Van Vliet will win by 1 point, or 9 points.
9 points.
9 points.
Yeah, in my little tally here, I have factored in quality points already.
Excellent. So if Van Vliet can get one more spot, that'll be 90. Oops, sorry, 90. He'll finish 14 points ahead. So, Raggy's just got to hope that Van Vliet makes a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, it does seem like Van Vliet isn't exactly putting on a whole lot of pressure at the moment. He's just kind of following him around. Yeah. Maybe hoping that if Piper goes for a move, a door might open for him to slip on through as well.
Do you reckon drivers are aware of the situation? Do you reckon they've got some people watching the stream saying, oh, hang on, they're saying this, if I stay this?
No, I think drivers in this situation have done their own research and know exactly where they need to finish. Talking from my own experience last night, I know that I had all of the maths in my head. I knew where I needed to finish. I basically knew all the point standings, like the back of my butthole, and yeah, knew exactly what kind of gap I needed between myself and Timo.
I say I know the back of my butthole very well at all, actually.
Night
Look,
at rain and ACC.
when you approach your 30s, you need to make regular inspections.
Jeez, I'll start
Please.
there.
I'm really late.
Right, professionalism, cool. Right there.
Yep.
Make sure everyone- It's a community service announcement. Check your prostate.
Oh, don't go that far in.
Well, while you're in there, you might as well go all out. Not here to fuck spiders, Brayden. Jeez.
Oh, you can't talk about this. You can't talk about this on stream.
You can. It's men's health. Men's health's important.
Yeah, I suppose.
And it
Check
is
your
November.
prostate.
Everybody go and donate to Pat Oliver's November
Yes.
for men's health.
Oh, has he actually got a charity going? I'll donate to it. I've got
Yes,
a
he has.
mustache going.
Yeah, jump on his Twitch. Jump on his Twitch. Pat Oliver. Oliver with an O. As in, sorry, Oliver as a 0. Give us some instructions on how to do. You really want me to tell you? Are you okay?
Bender can't because he's got that crook hand.
Oh mate, he'll find a way. That's why his
He's
hand's
right.
crook. Gee whiz. What has happened to us tonight? I don't know.
Oh,
So
Jen's
much-
just chiming in. Check your prostate. We don't want to lose any one of you. That's good advice, Jen.
We don't lose anybody, but you may lose a digit. Bender can't be trusted. Back to the racing. Speaking of close behind, O'Donnell right on the back of Villanueva, and that is a very fast, rapidly Ryan Green.
Green, that's a bit ambitious.
Everyone was aware of that, and we said, "See you later, boy."
Oh, I don't even think that was a send. I think he may have just missed his brake marker.
He's trying to kill that car. Whatever he's doing, he's not there to make friends.
They're trying to get used to the new rig. Old Granny
Yes.
over here.
Everyone stop watching the stream and go check your prostate. Come back to us and type 1 in chat so we know that you're okay. Cam Farmer is giving free exams for anyone that is struggling with this issue. Bender, like yourself, who's got stitches in his hand. I don't think I woke up this morning thinking we're going to be talking about this, but here we are.
Hey, you rostered me on. That's what you get. Riley's looking the claws. Being snuck up on here by Matthews. Matthews right up on the inside. And I want to line up a great exit. See if we can slip on behind, pick up that toe, maybe jump back out, coming back into turn 1, drop the anchors a little bit later than McLaren. Not too sure he'll be able to though. No, he slips back in behind, back into formation.
Yes, Janet does
He's putting
count.
on the pressure. Putting on the pressure, and he's letting the claws know that he is absolutely there.
Nice little battle back here. We can see there are 6 drivers that have done their mandatory pit stop. That's Nyaki, who pitted lap 2, or lap 1 perhaps. Oh, it's a bit of a...
Tom, was it? Tom Riley?
I didn't see anyone type 1 in chat, so I don't think anyone checked it. Alright, let's go on board with
Maybe-
Daniel. Where
Maybe
did he
people don't
start?
want to touch their keyboard after where their fingers have been. Fingers.
There's such...
How many would you?
Do you wash your hands?
moving
You
on,
can-
moving on.
Okay,
Yeah.
check your prostate and then wash your hands. That's the second step afterwards.
Oh, you don't have to.
Don't go to your keyboard.
Have you ever heard of the saying "finger looking good"?
Oh, I have.
Now, hang on.
Oh, shit. It's gone from keyboard to your mouth.
Yeah.
Mole DM, what? Have we been demonetised and banned? Probably. Don't blame it.
Check your prostate, check your uvula, and move on.
Oh dear.
Bob Ross. Doctor Sessions with Bob Ross.
I'll leave you to it for a second. I'm just going to go attend to something.
We've just seen Villanueva run a little bit deep into turn 1. He's going to come under pressure from Daniel O'Donnell, who is now at P13 after, what did you say before? It was about a P28, P29 start?
He didn't have a quali.
Yeah, well and
lap.
truly at the back of the pack.
He has been behind Villanueva for about half a dozen laps now, and has had a couple of close calls, running a bit wide in a couple of turns. He's pushing hard.
Yeah, so the pressure's well and truly on. Villanueva is absolutely no slouch, though. He's actually one of our Pro-Am contenders, currently sitting P4 in the championship. So I think he's going to want to hold on to this position and pick up as many points as he possibly can. He is contending with Ryan Green in the championship. There is 24 points of margin between the two of them. Ryan Green is pitted, so it's not going to be easy to say what kind of point deficit will be provisionally until we see Villanueva see to the pits, and we'll see where he pops out.
Do you think we'll have Reynolds or O'Hara going early for the undercut?
I think we'll see O'Hara. I think O'Hara will have to be the one to react here first. As long as Reynolds can keep him behind, there's no reason for him to pit. Yeah, because if he pits, then he kind of just puts himself at risk to lose the position.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's just going to wait for O'Hara to react here.
It's a matter of when he pulls the pin, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but if he does start to run out of fuel, I think we will see O'Hara pit after him. I think it just depends on fuel loads at the end of the day. Usually you'll just go half tank and set yourself up for half an hour, maybe 40 minutes, just to try and be as efficient as possible on fuel. Don't really see anyone going out with full race fuel, with a full hour worth of fuel. Well, Daniel O'Donnell runs really wide there. That's going to be a track limit warning. It is possible that some drivers will pick up a drive fuel at some point during the race. It's a pretty nasty track when it comes to track limit warnings, particularly the exit of turn 4 back there where we just saw O'Donnell run wide. Oh, he's got his nose out, and it almost looks like Villanueva's just letting it happen. I think he may have backed out of that one and didn't want a bar of it. Daniel O'Donnell has got it done. It's currently up to P11. Scott Blair has pitted as well, so Scott Blair was in that top 10.
I'm back, gents.
Michael Young just picked up a 5-second time penalty for that small incident we saw on lap 3 on the exit of the chicane. I believe it would be for that, just a little bit of argy-bargy wheel tapping as he was trying to save the car. The stewards have obviously deemed that he could have done it a little bit better, but it wasn't that bad. 5 seconds is the lightest penalty that they can dish out. Just jump back on board with Ben Piper, still chasing down Raggy. Raggy is putting on an absolute show tonight. Absolute clinic, holding that P5 position where he started. Yeah, making it very difficult for Piper to get through. Van Vliet's still sitting pretty right behind him, just 8/10 of margin between him and Piper. So, I do think that Van Vliet's just going to sit here and just let this one pan out because he knows he's got the win. As long as he keeps it steady, he doesn't need to do anything risky in terms of overtaking Piper because he does have it in the bag where he stands.
It's such a solid battle. We've got Severus right on the back of Van Vliet. So he's trying to make himself a chance to get some overtakes done. Pit stops have been starting the last few minutes, so we're keeping a very close eye on the Reynolds O'Hara battle. I can't wait till they pit because we're going to go straight to that action, see who nails their spot.
Yeah, we were discussing while you were gone who's going to blink first in terms of the pit stops.
It'll be O'Hara, based on his
Yeah.
P2.
Yeah, I was saying I don't think Reynolds is going to make a move until O'Hara does. As long as he can keep O'Hara behind, there's no reason for him to leave the circuit apart from running out of fuel.
You've got all that track space in front of you. You might as well keep pushing into it, setting the pace. Fastest lap of the race, the 8:08 with a 54 flat. That is Regan Herbert.
currently sitting P4 at the moment. So, just touching on Atanyaki, who pitted, what was it, lap 2? He's popped out ahead of Michael Young, popped out ahead of Ryan Green, so he must not have had a lot of damage or anything in that pit stop, because he's not faring that poorly with the drivers around him. So maybe it was some kind of a fuel error or something, or maybe tyre pressures were just going to
It could be he had the qualifying fuel in there. You could be right. Maybe he wasn't aware that it was a night race, so he had to fix his pressures. Didn't quite put him right on the grid. Or maybe it was just a really bold strategy, Cotton, and currently he's sitting provisionally P3 for those that are pitted.
Yeah,
but those tyres are going to be absolutely disgusting in about 10-15 minutes time.
Yeah, he's got a lot of clear air around him though. He's got 12.5 seconds to Harding ahead and another 5.5 seconds to Michael Young behind him on the road. Did you see a 10-second penalty come through for Connor Kingston for a lap 3 collision? Correct me if I'm wrong, that may be what we saw in turn 3 that involved the 4 cars where Ryan Green just slipped on through.
Possibly.
I don't actually mind that strategy that Elite's gone with. I reckon that's good thinking.
It is, because you give yourself clear air and you can set basically quali laps just with full fuel instead of tailing behind someone.
Yeah, and he had the
just
whole
really
field
grind it
behind.
out.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously the risk is how much rubber is going to be left on the tyres come the end of the race. But yeah, I suppose if he's not nasty on tyres like some of the drivers are, then it might just pay off for him. But yeah, we're not going to know until we see everyone else come through the pits and we'll see where he sits. Piper and Raggy both into the pits at the same time.
Raggy's nearly put it in the fence.
Got to practice your pit stops.
Oh, he's very cautious going into the pits there. And Van Vliet's followed him in. I don't know about that. I think give yourself a chance to run into it. Raggy did look very cautious heading into the pit lane there. Connor, don't blame him, as Ferguson's picked up a drive-through penalty for an unsafe rejoin on lap 3. So we want to keep an eye on this battle, because this is for the Pro-Am Championship.
Yeah, we'll see who's better on the blocks. But you never know, maybe I think Raggy just thought maybe it's time to pit, and Van Vliet probably ran out of fuel.
I hope that drivers aren't just taking 50-50. You want to go about 60-70% tank at the start.
I was going to say, who's running 130% fuel?
No, 30% fuel. 50-50.
67. 60% fuel for the first half, and 70% for the rest of the race.
No, I'm saying they want to take 60 or 70% fuel for the stint, mate.
I'm pulling your leg.
Well, you're not pulling it. I don't feel it.
Sorry. Wrong leg.
That's better.
Saw Kingston get a little bit wide coming through the Schumacher S's and just touch the sand a little bit. He has kept the car alive. He's got some work to do, though, with that 10-second penalty.
So, Piper's jumped McConnell in the pits. Now, that means Van Vliet is right behind McConnell. So, with that slower stop there for Raggy, it's cost him one position. They've got a Dale Lawson, who's on the same lap as these guys, so he doesn't have to get out of the way. All the work to do here for McConnell. Does that change things up much? No, it doesn't. It actually helps Van Vliet out a lot.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the pace difference is between these two, because it was hard to tell earlier if Raggy was a bit of a cork in the bottle that Piper was happy to sit behind. As we just see Raggy dip his nose up into the middle and take the position with absolute ease. As they come to the approach of the Schumacher S's, he's done that very convincingly. So slow pit stop doesn't really mean much now, because they're back into formation.
Yep. So now it's Van Vliet turning it past Lawson.
Oh, that's late.
I think drivers just got to realise that they don't have to move. They're on the same lap as you. Even if they haven't stopped, they don't need to move. Luckily, that was all done without incident. But I've seen that come in contact many times, as Villa and Wave is out of the pits now. Who else we got? So Ferguson hasn't served that drive-through yet. Scott Blair P13. Lawson, you can see just coming in. Is that Lawson? So Blair must be right behind this Van Vliet battle. And the leaders stay out. 28 minutes. Leaders are still out there.
And then O'Donnell's also in the pits as well, along with Spenceley. And Spenceley was a little bit further down the order, but O'Donnell's going to be one to watch to see where he spits out of the pits after his back of the pack start and his blistering first half of the race. Icon picks up 10 seconds for lap 2 collision. We're getting some early incidents, penalties still coming through, so the stewards have had quite a bit to look at. May not be a lot of incidents, but there may be a lot to unpack. Try and get to the bottom of what actually went down.
Reynolds in the pits.
Yeah, Reynolds in the pit. Was there an overtake for the lead, and that's why Reynolds is in? Or...
No.
No.
Henderson, Herbert also in the pits. 4 drivers remaining to serve their pit stop, being O'Hara, Siberus, Neil Wood, and Lawson, who's actually just jumped in now. Yeah, 3 drivers left over to serve their pit stop. And then it'll be sprint to the finish with 26 minutes to go, 26:45, plus 1 lap. Yeah, this is O'Hara's chance to set some of the best laps that he possibly can and try and make up that position via crunching Delta. Does he go in 1 lap after, or does he give it a couple of laps and then jump in? We will find out. We'll see what the man's thinking. Reynolds, stop go 30.
Oh!
That would be speeding in pit lane if I'm not wrong.
Yes, it is. If it's the game's given you, you've done fucked up AA run. That's unfortunate.
So that gets converted to a 15 second. Am I right?
10.
10. There you go. A little bit more lenient this season, or I just haven't been paying attention because I always know my pit stops. Whatever. Who cares?
It looks like this is the replay. He's hit the pit line.
Yeah, he's
hasn't
very
engaged.
late on the brakes.
60-70. There goes that little. He actually got to the line, the fine, but then he had that little bit of a blip on the throttle, and the pit limiter wasn't on, so that's cost him. Yeah, unfortunate there.
O'Hara in.
Yeah, well, if O'Hara saw that in the standings, then he would just decide there's no need to kind of punch out as many laps as he can. It's time to take the pit stop and get some fresh rubber and just push it to the end of the race. And if he can keep it clean, then he's going to be picking up P1 in split blue.
Reynolds, you can see 10-second penalty now converted. Andy O is in the pits. We'll keep an eye on it, how close they are after their stops, but yeah, as you can see, 10-second penalty is going to really hurt Reynolds and maybe drop him off the whole podium altogether. Henderson's about 5 or so seconds behind. Herbert's about 7 or 8 seconds behind. It's going to be tight. Look at the right hand side. Where's Andy's car? There it is. There it is. He's just going to get out ahead. It's gone pretty deep to cover off on the outside. And there we go. So they'll resume their battle. But after those pit stops, Reynolds has picked up a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Yeah, if Andy didn't see that prior, then it would be a nice little surprise for him to pop out of the pits too. Raggy's still putting the pressure onto Piper at the moment. Seems like these two are very similarly matched in pace, considering that the roles have reversed and they're still going nose to tail. Van Vliet still lurking in the background, still sitting pretty in terms of provisional points. So he does not need to take any risks, but do it for the broadcast, please. Give us a battle. I want to see these two go side by side.
It seems like Van Vliet's sitting that 1.5 seconds back, just cruising along, taking it easy, waiting to see if Raggy takes a lunge. Right up from the fourth rim.
Confirmation there for the penalty for Reynolds.
You see Piper's pushing really hard. He used a lot of track coming through 2 mark resses. Raggy slips his nose up onto the inside, has the ideal line. He's going to look for a switchback on the exit.
I don't know how they
Going
didn't
on to the
touch
back
him.
straight. Yeah, that was very close. Yeah, Piper's lucky to get away with that one.
Look who's back.
That was quite ambitious. Raggy chucked the nose up, but he almost had it done. And now we're looking at Van Vliet right on the tail of McConnell. McConnell's obviously lost a little bit of time just trying to battle with Piper here, and now he's got a rearview mirror full of Van Vliet, so he's going to have to think twice before he goes for another move. He's going to have to make sure that he's actually going to get it done. Just pulling to the right a little bit to try and break the toe, but Van Vliet's all over him. Van Vliet's going to take up every little bit of toe that he can. He's in the Porsche, so every kilometre helps. Or mile for those NA viewers playing at home.
Nah, you don't even acknowledge that, mate. It's a stupid metric.
Doesn't even make sense.
My Audi just getting out of the way. Good decision. So next week, if you missed the recap, we have a week off for the final series preparations for Asia Pacific. But North America will be having their first week of the finals because they've got Thanksgiving the week after, so we're going to reschedule it for them. And EU Red are going to have a round 5 race in that bye week because server issues. Best thing about running a group like this is you can do things like that. You can modify it, you can put a bit of common sense out there to get everyone racing.
Not like you got to rent the track a year and a half in front, pay a fortune for it.
Yeah, Spa F1, if you're listening. I wish they re-raced or rerun that race. Obviously they can't now because of several reasons, but yeah, it would have been nice for those little... Do they get a refund? Do you know? Surely they should refund the Sunday at least. I don't agree they should refund the whole weekend because they still had...
I assume they would have to do something because Lewis Hamilton was one of the drivers that came out and said you need to do something for these fans.
Yeah, he needs
and
to
when
talk to
Lewis
them.
Hamilton says something, you kind of need to go along with it because they're like, yeah, he's right, it's Lewis Hamilton.
I'd be
if they go
fuming
against
if I
it,
was the
yeah, people get angry.
organisers. I'd be fuming if I was
Yes.
the organisers if Hamilton didn't shut his mouth.
It's very similar to Melbourne Grand Prix last year when they shut it down last minute. Hamilton was one of the drivers that said in a press conference, I don't know why we're still here. And then it was pretty much after that comment that the year started turning on shutting it down. So Hamilton's word has a lot of influence, and yeah, he spoke up about Spa, so I feel like they have no choice but to do something.
There's a big
Also,
difference
human
between
can do.
Melbourne though and Spa. Melbourne really never went ahead. Spa, they ran the whole day. Like, they were still there. So I don't think they should get a full refund. And I've also seen images of how they left the circuit. I reckon that would have left organisers absolutely fuming with how disgusting that were. And they would have been like, look, you didn't clean up. You've destroyed the top part of this hill. Yeah. I thought that was pretty disrespectful.
Yeah, but in saying that, what about the people that were cleaning up after themselves? Now they suffer the consequences of people that weren't behaving themselves.
That's how life is, mate. Unfortunately, the work of this is a small amount of people can ruin it for everyone. They'll get their refund for Sunday. There's no way they can't, but it won't be a full weekend refund because they still had the qualifying, which Lando Norris has actually tried to delete himself on.
Sorry, just to cut you off there, Malik. We've just had a change for the lead. I know that the timing was already there for Andy O'Hara to have P1 at the end of the race, but he has taken P1 on track. There's already a 1 second margin between the two drivers, so I think something maybe Reynolds has made a small mistake, or he's just thought enough is enough. I'm not going to hold you.
Probably that,
10
and
second
maybe he's a bit stressed, a bit upset that he's made a mistake in the pits. It's probably cost him a win.
Well, as long as he doesn't play out of current to a wall, then everyone's fine.
So those that have raced this season, how have you felt you found your car that you've chosen? Are you going to stick to it in the future, or...?
I thought the rules were you can't choose the same car twice.
That's a good point.
No.
No, it's not. It's not the rule.
Isn't it?
Nah.
No, I'm going to change it up anyway. I'm thinking McLaren.
It's too much to keep track of. I can't keep track of 350 drivers what picked last season.
Yeah, fair call.
If you want to race it, you want to race it. That's kind of what we're going. Obviously, we've loosely said that in the past with other Sprint Series formats, as Siciliano's going to look at the inside, he's gone deep, cost himself a spin.
Yeah, it's a bit of play on for Villanueva there. Not too sure he'll be too fussed about that one. Might be carrying a little bit of damage, but 17 minutes to go rather. And he's got quite a margin now. Battle's still raging on. Hang on.
Raggy's still trying to get past Piper.
No, Raggy is past Piper.
He is past.
Just waiting for the timesheets to update as he goes past the timing line. Yeah, Raggy has made it done. As we're just going to watch the replay of how Andy O'Hara has taken P1 on track. He also has just set the fastest lap of the race with a 53.1. That's bloody stupid. Oh, that's late. That's a late decision, and that's a very tight line to be taken through turn 1, but he's gotten it done. Almost a carbon copy of what happened at the start of the race. No, Reynolds didn't quite have the pace around the outside that time, and yeah, Andy O'Hara got it done very convincingly. Just jumped back on board with Van Vliet, who's now chasing down Piper.
Ooh, maybe Severus might make this interesting. Let's go on board with Severus.
Yeah, even if Severus were to take the position of Van Vliet will still have
By 4 points.
Yep, correct.
If Van Vliet finishes 9th, that's when it'll change up. And McConnell will win by a point. Oh, there's a mistake!
Van Vliet's just gotten a little bit sideways.
Pressure.
Turn 5. Severus is going side by side with him as the outside line is not exactly the ideal line coming into the corner.
Lots of respect shown by both drivers there. Well done, Jordan Severus on the outside there.
Yeah, just way out on the marbles,
line.
very slippery, so he's done well to keep the car collected there. And very lucky for Van Vliet not to lose the position. You just see...
Not over.
Back. Severus, it's a peak on the outside. He's on the grippy stuff. What Marcus Van Vliet has held position. Severus is still hounding him down. This may continue for a few corners yet. Meanwhile, lurking in the background, Scott Blair might be making a little bit of time up on these two as they battle. And that can make things a little bit more interesting than what they already are.
Bit to camp.
Severus is really going to have to line up a nice exit somewhere if he's going to make something happen. And just grab as much tow as he possibly can off that Porsche. That Porsche has fallen back from Piper quite a bit, so he will be losing that slipstream down the main straights.
So, what'll happen here is currently Henderson and Reynolds are separated by 7 points in the championship. After the drop round and the results tonight, Reynolds and Henderson will swap around based on that time gap. That'll move Henderson up to P2 in the championship. So he's gone from 4th to 2nd. I was going to work out Michael Young's points.
Michael Young is currently sitting at 399. The deficit between Michael Young and Henderson is 20 points.
Yep, so the way it sits right now, predicted drop points, Henderson will be on 505, Michael Young 454, because Henderson's had that 3 at Bathurst, which has hurt his overall. So yeah, he'll jump Young, he'll jump Sneakers, and he'll jump Reynolds. Oh, he's already in front of Reynolds, so he'll go with P2. Good pressure there. Pressure racing. Oh, this is close. Oh, who's that? That's Lawson. I thought for a moment there that might have been Piper, but it wasn't. Scott Blair, he's currently 4.6 seconds back from this battle. If he was to manage to get in front of them as well, that would help Raggy out. But at the moment, Van Vliet will pick up the Pro-Am Championship.
Yeah, not much chance of Raggy making any further ground ladder with Herbert in front by 12 seconds. So, and putting in faster slaps. So,
Yep.
still a good effort. P5.
It certainly is.
Yeah, so Van Vliet just needs to clean it up. Last lap was, sorry, the lap prior was obviously a bit of a mess for him, but he's sorted himself out and he hasn't lost any positions from it. He was at risk of losing position, but he's held his ground. Yeah, you just need to keep it clean for the rest of the race. And yeah, as we said, even if he does lose that one position to Jordan, then he will still be in the box seat for the championship.
Very nice. It's been a good little battle. It's not over. Anything can happen in these last 12 minutes. I've lost chat completely on YouTube. Is it for anyone else? Everything's tanked on it.
No, I've got it.
Yay.
But Rugrass talking about the return of Dirt Rally.
Oh, we're definitely getting there. Sorry, we had a lot come up this week. Server changes. Another week of things I had to sort out. Yeah, it's weird chat. So you can see ahead, Andrew O'Hara's 4.4 up the road. Henderson's slowly bridging that gap to Reynolds, and Herbert's still in that 10-second window, so he might move up to P3. Unfortunate there.
Yeah, so just looking at the pace difference between O'Hara and Reynolds, it kind of seems like O'Hara had the pace all race. There just wasn't any opportunity for him to really stick his nose up on the inside. And then it looked like a hesitated decision in this turn one earlier, but did manage to get it done. And now he's just absolutely driving away with it. I saw the fastest laps come through immediately after he took the position.
Samaras trying the yeet angle there. Didn't quite get it done.
We're going to be seeing a couple of... Sorry, go on.
Speaking of Dirt Rally, I had a massive session the other night just on the free roam in the barn area or the warehouse.
I've done like
So
almost
much
zero
fun.
time in the free roam area. I spent all my time at New England. New England is a beautiful track.
My brothers were over and we're just yeeting it through the warehouse. Reverse entries and a linking up sort of section. It was actually a lot of fun.
It is quite good in terms of becoming familiar with certain cars and stuff, and then translating some of the familiarities that you take from free roam into some of the tracks.
Oh, this is close. Yeah, it's just a good way to learn how the car weight transfer behaves. What we've got here, Wood, McClaw's, Spenceley. McClaw's started right at the back as well. It was on the inside. Should get this done. A lot of space left there by Wood. His white wheels. Nice move.
Nothing wrong with white wheels.
Don't start that argument.
White wheels on pizza, yes or no?
Better than pineapple.
I don't think exactly.
I disagree.
Well, you don't get it. You don't count. What wheels do you have on your car in real life, Brain? What's it called? Colour?
It's this nice silver plastic.
Nice. You got hubcaps.
Yeah.
Hubbies. Woo!
I roll around in a little Kia Rio, a little 2017 Kia Rio. I don't have anything fancy.
Nice. They see me rolling. That's amazing.
Now picture me rolling around in a Kia Rio, loaded up with all the tools that I use for work. The thing has not been taken care of, let me tell you.
Oh, mate.
Is anyone looking to buy a car?
That would have seen some stuff. Oh, what are you looking to upgrade to?
I'm just going to get a Ute. Just going to get a BA Falcon Ute. Nice and easy.
No, it's perfect.
Screw some toolboxes to the
Okay.
track.
What rims? You got to put your money where your mouth is, mate. You better get some white rims for it.
Nah, I'm gonna get some like gold dollar sign spinners, I think.
I'll chip in for that.
24 carat though.
Oh, wow, don't ask too much, do you?
I'm balling.
No, I've decided that I really like black rims on cars. Even bronze looks pretty cool.
White is good, black is good. The colours are no good unless you've fitted them in appropriately, which no one does.
Yeah. Well, very well, it's got nice silver rims on there.
Sybaris, Van Vliet. Side by side coming into the chicane. Van Vliet's got the ideal line on the inside. Sybaris is going to have to show a lot of balls to get through here. Oh, he's not backing out. Van Vliet's the one that's backed out in the end. Sybaris has taken the position.
Huge coconuts.
It's not going to hurt Van Vliet too much. Scott Blair has fallen a little bit further back, now 7.5 seconds down the road.
So, sitting in 8th now, Van Vliet, that puts him at 80. So he's 4 points ahead of McConnell. 4 points ahead. He just needs not to panic here, Van Vliet, because if he gets a little bit impatient and tries to throw it and spins out and Blair comes through, that could be the Pro-Am Championship done.
That is one of the scenarios that can ruin it, but it's also the scenario of the likes of either Herbert, Henderson, Reynolds or O'Hara having a bit of a moment on track, which costs them quite a bit of time.
Look at this.
O'Connell can make up that position.
Piper has been sniffing Raggy all day. Glad Raggy's not dipped in chloroform because Piper would be good night.
I'd say, try not to spend a whole lot of time sniffing rags.
But great clean racing here by these two. I think Piper's just changed his livery a little bit. Maybe made it even brighter than it was already.
Yeah, I bet you at this point Raggy is wishing that he had his little forehead windscreen wiper on at the moment, because they say the beads will be forming quite effusively. Although he's in England, so it's probably freezing cold.
True. Yeah,
Oh, red pink Raggy is what they're calling.
It hasn't really affected much. I haven't had an issue. It's obviously a very stable connection. Sometimes we saw with Darren King that his internet would every now and then be a little bit funky. I think he's at a new place now. But I've seen worse connections here in Australia to Australian residents.
Oh yeah. To the point where you can't overtake them because you don't actually know where their car physically is on track.
Yeah, Raggy's has been very consistent, 250 pings around about, and no jumping around the track.
How's O'Donnell though? Sorry to cut you off. See, O'Donnell, as you said, started back at the pack. He's up to P11, only half a second off Harding now, so he's still in contention to get into the top 10 from the back of the grid.
Could he be our driver of the day?
He already is. Doesn't matter if he gets this position or not.
What about if he murders Harding and spins out?
I think he'll blow it if he does that.
Yeah. Good answer. Because I think Brady's already sent the trophy off.
Oh, you know what? Raggy is a pretty close contender to get driver of the day as well. Starting P5 and looking
moved
like
up. He's moved up a staggering amount of 0 positions, and he's really dominated it.
Yeah, but
if that's what we're talking about, driver of the day, nah, it's got to be O'Donnell. Raggy's had nerves of steel of the day.
Yep.
And Reynolds has had L of the week.
Well, O'Hara doesn't get driver of the day then. He's also up 0 positions.
O'Hara's just doing what we expect, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yawn of the day, more like it.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you're fast and you're always P1, you don't get any awards. Your reward is winning the championship.
He's not a Buddy Franklin fan, is he? Is that why he's got 23?
I hope not.
No. Nah, I'm
Shane
just gonna
Warne
put it-
fan. He's a Shane Warne fan.
That's what it is.
He loves his diuretic pills. I'm not. This is speculation, chat.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. Everyone's talking up the white wheels. I want to see some proof that anyone in chat has actually had a car in real life with white wheels. If you have, and you do like white wheels, then I will accept.
And if you're looking for the budget way of getting white wheels, head on down to Bunnings, grab yourself a can of glossy white fiddly bit spray paint and some masking tape so you don't get the tyres.
I reckon if
Hey,
you're
hey.
spray painting your wheels white, they don't give a shit how close the lines are. If that's the worst of your problems, your priorities aren't right. Oh, I might get some of the white on the wheel for the $50 card that I've got.
Spraying the rims
I'm
with
doing it
$20
tomorrow.
can.
I'm doing it tomorrow. I'm doing it. I'm gonna find one of my Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Severus,
Whoa.
back off the throttle, big fella.
Yeah, you'll have to give this one up. I think it's fair if he fights this one.
Why not?
Oh, it's a bit of a dangerous position, I suppose. Fighting as soon as you rejoined is a bit dicey, isn't it?
That's completely fine. This is
I don't
allowed
like
to
it.
re-enter track.
Well, then I've let go far too many positions on a rejoin then.
Oh no.
Oh!
That's
That's-
Raggy. Raggy!
Raggy.
Oh no.
Raggy's around. Raggy's in the sand. He's going to lose the position to both Siberus and Van Vliet. He will rejoin.
Not happy.
He's going to have minimal damage, and by the looks of things, there will only be about 1 or 2 laps left of the race.
Does
That
that,
is devastating, though. Not
that,
driver of the day.
is that a
That's
mole?
Curse.
You've cursed. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. After telling us how clean they've raced all day.
Yeah.
You gonna claim that one?
I'll probably have to. Oh, if not, I'm going to be blamed anyway. Oh, let's get away from sadness, Cam. On board with the Reliant Robin Racing's Andrew O'Hara, who's on the final lap of the race. I'll try and find a replay quickly.
It's really pulled a gap, hasn't he, on Reynolds? 9 seconds over the second half of the race.
No, that's not net code. That's just driving too close to the driver's rear quarter. That's kind of what happens. FN chat there for Ragsonator.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not too sure if that proximity radar pops up if the car is directly ahead. So if that was there for him, it would have helped and definitely would have avoided that situation.
So well done, Andrew O'Hara. P1 is going to pick up the Split Blue Championship. Well done, sir. And Reynolds will cross the line P2. It's been a great race. He had one tiny mistake in the pits, which has cost him 10 seconds. So Henderson will jump him 1.5 seconds. But he will hang on to that podium, which is great to see. Piper, who's been fighting all day, maybe looked at the stewards post-race for the contact with McConnell. Right behind him is Severus in the Bentley. And Van Vliet, who is going to pick up the Pro-Am Championship, finishing P7. McConnell, unlucky all day. He was driver of the day, according to Braden Ross, so I'm not going to take that curse. Scotty Blair, P9. Harding's going to hold. Oh no, Donald's picked up a drive through for track limits in the last lap. All that hard work. Another curse.
Another broken wheel.
Another broken wheel. Another broken quick release. Pray for his rig. Overall, that's been absolutely fantastic split this year.
Pete in chat saying, well done, Andy, untouchable all season, except for the
All the times that he was
spun
touched.
around at Zolder. That touched him.
He actually got tangled up a couple of times this year.
Yeah, I think it was with a Porsche every time as well.
Yeah, he's not a fan of the Porsche.
Yeah, there is a lot of them in this split, so statistically speaking, probably likely that's going to happen.
Yep, check your prostate.
Yes. Big congratulations to Neil Wood as well for taking out P1 in the AM class. I don't know who came P2 and P3 because there was 51 points from P2 to P1 in AM class. Then after that was 1 point. After that, another 1 point deficit. 4 point, like AM class was too close. I don't know what to tell you.
So, unfortunately, we've removed the driver of the day badge from O'Donnell's car and we've put it on Atsunyaki, who also started at the back and finished ahead of O'Donnell. Just for that drive-through penalty. Stolen.
Yeah, big plays. Spot on Adonayaki.
I don't know where the I's coming from, but we'll give it to you.
Well, because there's an A between the N and the Y. So
No.
why would you go straight to Nya?
Why wouldn't you? Maybe
Okay, nice.
maybe the Y is silent. It's a nya. It's an arky. Anyway, O'Hara, Henderson, Reynolds, P123. Pro-Am, Van Vliet, McConnell, Rodder, and in the AM class, Wood, Lawson, and Miller as we prepare to go to Split Red for the final split race of the season for Asia Pacific.
You know what? I think Lawson may have jumped up to P2 in AM class there from P5, so that was a good race by him, depending on where his overall result was. But yeah, those details will be released in the coming days once all the points have been calculated and all post-race penalties have been sorted out. So keep eyes peeled for that one.
Boom.
I'd like to have seen Atanyaki's tyres and see what tread was left. After
Very
doing
little,
20
I reckon.
28 laps or so on around Nurbs.
Solid effort.
Very solid.
So we just joined the Split Red server. Benny Floyd, who's really making that Lexus work for him at the moment. Last week we had a couple of brilliant races for Split Red. This split's probably in the craziest we've had this season, taking the mantle from Split Green. So fingers crossed we see some more clean racing tonight. If not, more content. Just press a few more buttons. Right, we are here. But yeah, congratulations Andy, picking up the pro win, and to Marcus Van Vliet.
Yeah, so
Pro-Am.
we've made some good drives. Obviously a lot of contenders for driver of the day, but sadness of the day goes to the man who's just entered the box, JP. What happens, mate?
Island life happened, unfortunately.
It's, yeah, devastating to see. Would have been nice to see a little bit battling on track and more maths for the championship standings, but yeah, I suppose what can you do? Technology happens sometimes.
Yeah, it's just one of those unfortunate things. You know, I was excited about it. It's one of my better tracks, my more favorite tracks, and I don't think I would have challenged Andy, but definitely would have had a fun race. But you know, move on and,
Despite that, you had a killer season, and it's not over yet because I've no doubt that you'll be in the finals. So yeah, it's not over yet. You still contest.
yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think by the calculations, I finished third in the split, so I guess not too bad. And yeah, looking forward to finals. Well, I say looking forward to finals. It's Fulton Park, which I've done about 10 laps on, Spa, which I hate, and Mazzano that I like. So I'm not sure how much I'm actually looking forward to it, but
Real mixed bag.
yeah, it should be interesting for sure.
All right,
But I
gentlemen.
think, yep.
I'm gonna leave the commentary box to you, gents. Split Red. So hopefully that race is just as exciting as what the last one was. And, yeah, good night to everyone. Take it
Thanks,
easy.
mate. Take it easy. And be
And
good to
I'll-
mother.
Likewise, you be good to my mother too.
No worries. See you,
I'll jump
Braden.
as well, Melt, and just go check my prostate. See you
No
later.
worries. See you, Glenn.
Cheers, Glenn.
Yeah. No words for that. If you missed Split Blue stream, then you're probably wondering what the hell we're talking about.
Prostate health.
Prostate health. You've had plenty of time to do that tonight after you've your internet's done it for you.
It wasn't actually my internet, it was the electric. So
Oh,
yeah,
the whole thing.
Yes, I wanted to put my fist up somebody else's prostate at some stage, but
Is it back
yeah.
up now?
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately, it was just we in the middle of rainy season, and on an island, transformers tend to explode when that happens. So yeah, just one of those things.
Yep.
But looking forward to this. Going to be an exciting race. Little tight battle at the top of the field as well between Floyd and Samwise. So yeah, excited to see what happens here as we are joined by Sean Bob now.
Good evening, gentlemen.
How are you, mate?
Very well, thank you. Just enjoyed the Split Blue showing how it's done at Nurburg's. And yeah, said thank you to the crew in blue for the entire season. It's been very enjoyable being their race director.
Yeah, done splendid. No safety car needed tonight. We've only seen one in AP, I'm pretty sure. I don't think we saw one in yellow. Just green, doing it their way. Split red, though, has been very exciting, dicey so far this season. So, big chance here for a safety car.
It's been exciting because Kovacs on Kovacs kill each other every week, but yes, it's good to see.
Yeah, we're going to split just for the Kovacs guys, I think, just to get all their gremlins out.
There's a split for them. It's called Wreckfest.
Just let me know when that's happening so I can scrub the Kovacs racing off my side of my car so I'm not involved.
Yes, you will be.
Sending me under the bus there, Mel, thanks.
Yes, you will. Oh, it's always there for fun, Mum. Yeah. Still waiting for Thomas Riley to join the commentary booth. He's at an eventful race, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, saw little
no
bits
rain.
and pieces of him. Looked like he had some excitement at least.
We don't have Bender racing tonight because he's done his hands and there's no rain on the track, which is baffling.
Did he do it while checking his prostate, or was that prior to?
Oh, he won't deny, confirm nor deny it, so I'm going to assume yes.
He may have done it wrong then, if that's the case. But anyway.
We needed stitches. I'm not sure how he's done it, but he's definitely fucked it up.
I don't think I want to know how he's done it if there's stitches involved. That's just me
If
personally.
you sign up to his OnlyFans, I'm pretty sure you'll see it. That's disgusting as well.
Anyway, racing cars,
Are we?
Nurburgring.
Speaking of ring, we're at the Nurbs. That's a great time there for Floyd in the Lexus 53.3. Thanks for the sub there, George Fowler. Speaking of prostate, who's the one to watch out for this split? Samwise Holmes, Ben Floyd, they're battling it out for the win this season. I don't think Gibbons
He's
can
about
win it
100 points behind, so
unless both Holmes and Floyd's internet does a JP, which you doubt. Corey Sweet isn't racing tonight, so he's out of the calculations, and you've got Stefano Rasciuti. Is your brother able to race tonight?
he is racing. Yeah, he's electric. He lives about 50 meters down the road, and his electric just came back as well. So
Excellent. So he's got a round in round 2 where it's a 0, so points here is really going to pump up that average. Yeah, Pickford's P. I don't know why Pickford's been put there, but he's on that list. Pro-Am class, it's very spicy between Pignata, Conboy, Clark, McLaren, James. Technically all chance, but I think it's the one to watch is Pignata versus Conboy.
I reckon we might see. I'm gonna hazard a guess and say we'll see 7 people in the 53s in quali.
Confident. I also welcome to the commentary booth, Thomas Riley. How are you, mate?
Evening, gents. It's good to be here. It was a interesting race before you start asking any questions. I was not in points contention for Pro-Am, so I did the team thing a little bit. Just played it safe, tried to avoid calling my number, which I did. I think that's the first round that I haven't had a crash of not my nature.
All
Yeah,
the
I was
wins,
a bit
mate.
surprised.
Yeah, Sean ordered a welfare check after just to make sure that your mic was working, but it's good to know that it's still working.
Yes, it is. It is very much still working. But no, it was good fun. I've enjoyed my debut sprint season. Should be back next season as well, which would be good.
For sure, mate. And on that note, I'm going to jump out, let you guys call the race. Have a great call. and hopefully it's nice and eventful for them.
You Malik, enjoy.
Cheers, Mark. Enjoy. So yeah, as we get going with quali here, quite a few big names here are going to be looking to put some mammoth lap times in, and it's a very important qualifying track just because of the nature of overtaking here being so difficult.
I've kind of thrown them under a bus a little. 7 into the 53. You're going to pull names out, or you're going to let it.
I'll say Floyd Holmes, Bignada, Johnson, Bertucci, Luke Johnson, sorry. Bertucci, how many is that?
You got 5.
5. Gibbons for sure, and fucking Zach James.
It's in there. There we go. Didn't take long.
So, no, it's we were having a conversation today in Team Kovacs just with the guys who stepped up from rookies for their first season, and just saying how much of a step up it is just in terms of the not aggressiveness of the racing, but the competitiveness of the racing. So I don't know if you experienced the same thing, Rich.
It was certainly a very big step up, I think. I was doing not too bad in rookies last season, but I certainly found my place very quickly and realised that I had to get my elbows up a little bit more.
Yeah, I found something similar when I transitioned from the rookies to sprint 2 seasons ago. I found myself in rookies that I was fairly comfy when I was on the track. Oh, as we see, Someways have a very big moment through the exit of the Schumacher S's there. That was well caught for the Audi Tings. But yeah, when I switched to the Sprint Series, I soon realised that I was not aggressive enough and I was far too friendly. And everyone in sprints takes advantage of that because, you know, if they see an opening, we're going to go for it.
Yeah, no, a gap in sprint is soon filled, where a gap in rookies is usually sort of considered at least before it's filled. So no, it's definitely quite a fun step up. I mean, personally it's a lot more enjoyable because there's a little bit on the line, and you know, it's a lot more competitive. But as we see, Samwise crossing with a bank of a 54.3. So take away his moment, and I think he'll be our first name into the 53s. As I say that, Floyd already with a 53 banker, so can't be too upset about that.
Yeah, keep an eye out for these McLarens here as well. They do go hand in hand with this track. Loves it here. The McLaren guys will be fairly punchy.
Is there anywhere where the McLaren isn't good, to be fair? Is there anywhere else where the McLaren isn't good then?
Probably some of the British tracks.
I don't argue against that. I would think that the McLaren's pretty strong around the British tracks.
Yeah, I don't really know much about the track combination. Like, I'm pulling things out of thin air here, boys. You're right, you put me on the spot. And I have failed.
Well, that sums up your season. Anyway, no, it's what's your thoughts? Ooh, it's not a curve you want to put a wheel on, but he's still made up. He lost about 2 tenths coming out of there. What's your thoughts on the track selection for finals, Bridge? Are we approving? Are we disapproving?
I think the inclusion of Alton Park will be very interesting. There's Spa and Masano are the other two. I think they're going to be the good tracks for just really hard racing, especially considering they're the later sort of the final rounds.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the format of finals as yet, whether it's super sprints again or if it's a mix. So that'll play a role as well, because a super sprint around Alton Park is going to be nothing short of catastrophic in terms of the amount of incidents that you're likely to see.
I think I'll be busy that night, not in the steward's box. I also have a very strong alcohol beverage.
well, if you're in the steward's box that night, you're definitely having a strong alcoholic beverage after. So, you know, it balances out.
You do jump in the steward's box and when the race starts, and that's pretty much what you do. That's just reading numbers.
We've got 3 people in the 53s at the moment, I should say, so we need the other 4 to make your prediction happen. But, we got Floyd with the 53.6, Rose with the 53.8, and Gibbons with the 53.88. So the front 3 are looking very, very fast.
There's a couple of people letting me down at the moment. I'm hoping they'll live up to the expectations. The very high expectations that I set on them entirely unbeknownst to them. So
Shadow, Bryce has thrown into the P4 with a 54.1 by the look of it, so he is looking very active in the Pro-Am time format at the moment. Ahead of that fucking Jack James we're talking about.
yeah, he's poked his nose in. No, Medic's Price has been on fire in terms of quality the last couple of rounds for sure. Definitely putting that McLaren where it belongs on the track. Especially Gibbons comes through the chicane, picks up a fair amount of time. 2 tenths up. Lost a little bit through the apex, but gained it again on the exit. So crosses for a 53.6 just after Ben Floyd crossed for a 53.4. So definitely some good improvements as we see Dookie Dookie here coming through the chicane as well. 6 tenths up. Hopefully he can gain another 4 tenths and make my prediction come through.
Game time.
Wow, yeah, this is a big jump for him. So it's 5 spots at P5. That's very strong. Pinata here. So he's got 8 tenths in the delta. So he'll probably jump up to P7. So that's another big gain.
The tyres are coming into the window now for most of these drivers. They're feeling the limits of what it's going to give them in these last few laps. Just over 3 minutes of quality left. So yeah, they'll be definitely pushing the limits. See what their cars can do in this final session. They're on board with Convoy. Slowly gaining. Not doing too bad with 4.6 at the moment.
Yeah, he had a very good first turn and then he lost quite a bit through 2, 3 and 4. Seems to have made up quite a bit again. So looking to improve throughout the rest of the lap. It is, for me personally, it's one of the trickiest first sectors to maximize lap by lap. He gained 2 tenths with a hairpin there. But the Mercedes, or what it's called, the Mercedes Stadium section, or whatever it's called, turn 3 and 4.
The Benz Arena.
Yeah, that is just, it's so awful. It's a great turn, but it's so freaking difficult to get it right every time.
Yeah, I still don't think I've got it right once, and I've done many attempts at it. But, yeah, one of the hardest parts of the track for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of time that you'll lose if you don't get a good exit out of 4. Just got to clip the inside curb, use all the track on the exit, and you're flat all the way up to turn 5, and that's a fair bit of time that you can either make up or you can lose time there.
And it's such a finicky track with regards to track limits as well, so it's so easy to invalidate just by pushing that little bit too hard.
You're watching there become nicely through the chicane there into the final turn. Gaining time as they've lost a little bit on exit there, but still an improvement. They'll have enough time to do one more flying lap as he gain a little bit of time. I think still 6, 14 at the moment. Owns a couple of tenths up at the moment. Into turn 7. Always a bit of a difficult one if you just miss that braking mark, and you definitely don't want to touch that inside curve. Like you said before, PJ, but at the moment he's looking pretty good to potentially get a slight increase on his time. Will it be enough to jump Gibbons? We'll soon find out.
Yeah, he was good for a 53.4, I think, in the hot lap server, or maybe a 53.5, so there is still some time for him on the table. 210s. Lost a little bit on the exit there, but not too bad. It's one of those turns as well where if you mess up the exit, you just keep draining time all the way to the chicane. So it's so frustrating when that happens. He didn't exactly nail the chicane there, but he comes into the last corner, makes up a little bit on the apex. It's not going to be enough to jump Gibbons. It does give him an extra bit of security to the guys behind.
Shooting here, coming into the S's. I don't know about you boys, but sometimes I just find the entry to the S's is that little bit sketchy. And when you nail it, it does feel fantastic through there. You gain some good time. Coming up onto the back straight now. 10th up, not doing too bad. A bit cross up there on the exit. Didn't really lose much delta, but you just see slowly starting to bleed that time, as you just said, Peach. Ever so slightly. It infuriates you as a driver when you're trying to gain that extra little bit of delta, but rectifying the last little bit of the track. I think that little moment has cost him, unfortunately. But I think he's going to be pretty happy with P5 at the moment.
I'm sure he'll be happy with that, although I'm a bit disappointed that he didn't get into the 53s, but you know, as you see Samwise coming through the S's for a final time, so he lost a little bit of time in these two following corners on his previous hot lap, so he'll be looking to nail that this time and make up that difference to Gibbo, which he hasn't really done, although he has improved ever so slightly. Looking to break Jan's heart here by pipping Gibbons at the post.
Into the last corner, can he keep that delta on the rise? He's actually gained time on exit slightly. Does he hold it? Oh, he just pips him by 3/100ths of a second.
So yeah, my first prediction was incredibly wrong, so I won't make any other predictions for the rest of the night, but at least there was 3 drivers, so I'll take that. 3 out of 7 ain't bad. It's good to see John Sonicus has continued his track record of not being able to qualify properly.
We all have our moments where we don't quite get the desired result in quality. You just sometimes you just can't make your laps together, or maybe you get caught up in traffic slightly. Maybe you just don't get the tire pressures 100% correct, and unfortunately you just can't bring the lap together. But I'm sure with the 60-minute race that we have ahead of us, with your pit stop, the time can be gained fairly easily in certain parts of the track. Obviously, you want to keep your nose clean as much as possible.
Yeah, as pointed out by George Fowler, they shout out to Bryce for sticking it in P4 Pro-Am and just absolutely nailed the quali lap, you know.
Man has had some speed.
Yeah, definitely. We certainly saw an interesting strategy in blue earlier. Malith Ataniake, he pitted lap 1, because there was no safety car. Pitted lap 1 after having a quali ban and made his way all the way up to 14th. So made up just over half the field in the space of the race. So maybe there's some benefit of the clear air. But we'll have to see what some of these drivers pick. No rain on the forecast. Sorry, Bender, that's unfortunate. But yeah, maybe we might see some people pit early, try and get that clear air. But then again, this is split red, so we'll probably see a safety car first lap.
And second lap. And
oh, you boys have just
later.
cursed it. You've already cursed it, and the safety car hasn't even rolled through yet.
I think it's if you messed up your quali and you're usually sort of high top 10 or something like that, then you've managed to qualify close to 20th or something, it's a good shout to maybe dive in early and go long. It's not the heaviest track on tires, so doing a 55-minute stint is not out of the realms of the possibility in terms of losing too much time towards the end of it.
As we look into chat, we can see that Bender wants a recall of the race, be shut down and started again, because obviously no rain means an unhappy Bender. Sorry, Bender, but I don't think you're going to get your wish this time.
Seeing as he's not even racing, I don't think he has any rights on this particular race, unfortunately. What he can do is he can provide us with some Bender facts.
There's always time for Bender facts. Who would like to call the start of this race, boys? Any volunteers?
I'll give it to Breach if he wants it. I don't mind. I've had some proper curses, so I don't wanna curse
Actually,
the
I was
final
about
round.
to ask. I know I've cursed. Preach, have you done a race start curse before?
Not done a race start curse. There has been a safety car when I've called a race, but I never mentioned a safety car in the lead up. So
Tonight is your night, my friend, to shine.
I've already mentioned safety car, so it'll probably happen now. But as we said, this is split red. We've seen some stranger things this season.
As we just roll around for the pace lap here, just to go through the standings ever so quickly before they jump. So we have Samwise leading the pro class with Floyd in second and Sweet, who's not racing tonight, in third. And then in the pro-ams we have Matthew Pignata, Jamie Conboy and Hayden McLaren. And for the AMs we have our very own Bender, who's not racing, Tom Sanderson and Ray Rischio as our top three. So some tight battles to go. I think Floyd and Samwise are separated by something like 10 points or so. So a lot to play for here today.
Preach, take it away as they come around this last corner.
It's certainly a lot to play for tonight. Well, still a long way to go though. Still an hour race. As the cars go double file. This main straight, we're going to see green.
Green light, go.
Now, and they're off. Really nice tight start. Cars fan out at the back. It's mainly 2x2s. See Zach James go up the middle, make it 3 wide. It's a bit of bumping further back. But incredibly, they've made it through turn 1 into turn 2 now into the arena section. Samwise leads. Floyd just going to hold on behind. A bit of a tussle back there with the two McLarens. Gibbons and Meddings. Still side by side on the run up to turn 5.
Zach
Contact
James.
Zach James on Convoy. There's a little bit of a bump, and Convoy's around. That's not ideal. He's now going to wait for the whole field to go through.
That turn 5 was a bit scrappy. There was a few little bumps there. There's a couple of McLaren and McLaren taps. I believe it was Bryce went right after a little bit of his assistance. The rest of the field managed to get through it quite unscathed as we come up through the S's. Mostly everyone's going to just be testing the limitations of cold tyres, cold brakes at the moment as we are on board with sneakers here. Oh no, we've jumped up to the front 2. We've sort of gapped the field already. They must have got a glorious jump with potentially the 2 McLarens in the background going side by side through the first section. I could have good race starts like those boys. Unfortunately, I'm not that
That
good.
was a very interesting way to take the chicane. I think.
You see Sonicus trying to go around the outside of the final corner. Not the easiest thing to do. Gets a decent exit, but he won't have the legs on the Lexus, I don't think. And the Kovacs car behind him, which generally doesn't end too well, but hopefully they'll tidy it up. Or just
Goes for
send
the
it.
move.
Absolutely
And he-
send it.
That's probably the smartest thing I've seen. Just get back on the gas and just accelerate through the apex. Avoid any contact.
Once again, Team Kovacs doesn't disappoint.
Well, there was no contact, so it's in terms of Kovacs, that's a fairly light incident. But as pointed out by Bender in chat, there's Sanderson currently running in P9, the AM, and he only needs P10 or better to take the AM class from Bender.
Look out.
So I can already see Bender posting encouraging messages throughout the chat, just trying his best to curse him.
Walker Clark here, looking at the back of his McLaren of Bartlett. Trying to size him up, no doubt, seeing where he might have a bit of a weakness. The car to do. I find this turn a little bit difficult as well sometimes to judge the braking zones. Maybe that's just me. Obviously, like maybe get a little bit wide coming onto the back straight. He was trying to defend pretty hard here. Won't want the other McLaren to, oh sorry, the Honda, I should say, to get a bit of a sneak up onto the corner chicane. Will the Honda have legs for possibly just a look? No, just dips the nose out, says, how you going? Just letting you know I'm here. If you make a mistake, I'm going to take the opportunity. Thanks for coming. As we will probably see them, oh, we see a Bentley have a bit of a nosedive on the Honda itself and that, but play on, boys, as we come down the front straight. Will a move be taken in turn 1?
Not sure if it's the McLaren who dipped his wheel on the exit there, but that may have cost him, but it seems as though it was the Lexus up ahead. As we see Sonic just go up the inside there, makes it stick. He'll have the inside for the next corner. No other moves being made thus far. Oh, that was fair. Oh, a little bit of a little boop on the snoot and around he goes. That is quite unfortunate, and somehow the Honda also loses it. I'm assuming
Maybe
there was
two boots on the snoot.
an additional boop.
Possibly, I'm sure, no doubt the stewards will get their eyes on that when they get a chance. As we're on board with Johnson here. Gibbons behind him, and I've got a fleet of McLarens here. 3 McLarens sitting in 4th, 5th and 6th. See how they go. Yes is there. McLaren is a fun car to drive here, I must admit. I have enjoyed last season having a crack here with it.
I absolutely cannot figure out how to drive that bloody car.
Just fast. Just drive it fast.
I felt like that tonight. I did not have my best. The setup I had wasn't particularly strong, and I was having a little bit of trouble. You see the replay here of what's happening at JC. It's a good exit out of 4. Tucks his nose up the inside into 5. Basically have that move done and dusted. He just backs out. Zach James, who's gone off, gone deep, dirty tyres, thinks he's clear and just clips him. And JC's just tried to save it. The opposite lock when the tyres grip. That's just unfortunate because you're going board with Samikas here. Oh, and all of a sudden there's a McLaren across your nose.
That's unfortunate. Don't know how that yields for damage in the Bentley. You would know, JB. Don't know what it's like with front end damage, but unfortunate that he had the contact there.
Yeah, it's generally with front end damage it's not too bad. It doesn't particularly like when it has rear aero damage, but in general it's not too affected. I don't think that'll be much more than maybe about 5 seconds or so of damage, so it should be fairly okay here as we see our 2-for-1 boop deal here.
Buy one, get one free.
So on first look, it looked like Bartlett went a bit deep, overslowed, got a little bit of a boop, and then an additional boop by Malloy on the back of the Honda. And round you go.
It doesn't take much to send the cars around into turn 3 there. It seems it's such a interesting corner considering how much of the inside curb you have to take. Make sure you open up for turn 4. You are very, very light and ginger on the throttle and on the brake through there. Unfortunately. Will be Kate here.
Step ultimate sacrifice here. Former professional race car driver.
This is his first race this season. See race coming from last race for a bit of fun.
I'm not sure, to be honest. That could be correct. He actually has raced this season or not. And would probably know. And is this first race, or are we just all blind and haven't seen him in the match?
So no particularly close battles apart from, it seems Gibbo is right on the rear end of Johnson as well, and then Sonicus and Tate here going toe to toe in the first sector. Sonicus will be looking to make up some spots after the McLaren magically appeared in front of him. As they come down towards turn 5 where the dramas happen. So it'll be interesting to see whether James gets punished. Ooh, that was a weird move by the Honda there. If James gets punished for the rejoin there with the convoy incident, or whether it'll be on convoy. I know our Stewart's team will take a look at all angles and determine who was at fault. But it was quite an interesting little incident.
There'll be a bit of chat going on between 8, 9 and 10. Friends, 3 of them. Zach James. You know that Sandeezy playing the Pro-Am champion, the EM championship, if he stays in the top 10. How much Zach James can catapult himself up the leaderboard. His Pro-Am battle. But if I were them, I wouldn't be battling. I would put the faster car in front, put the slow one behind, and just try and see if they can catch back up to Pinata. Like I was saying in chat, Zach James has some damage, so he's playing the re-gunner at the moment. If that's the case, that's probably even the smarter play. Easy title chances.
Zach James does have one of the best team names though. Upshift Greek, which is just a great little wordplay.
As we see the penalties starting to roll in, the stewards deem that the car 717 being a bit naughty for lap 3 contact, just gets a little 10-second lap on the wrist, unfortunately. Probably for the boot that we may have seen into turn 3.
Obviously not past Johnson. Ooh, that's very close.
I think we all held our breath for a second there when we saw the Fez go up the potentially inside of Pinata. We see Malloy get a 5-second for the lap 2 incident.
So just having a look here. No, sorry to interrupt. Pinata, I think if he finishes where he is now, he should be pretty clear in terms of taking the Pro-Am win. You have Bryce Meddings, who's leading as a Pro-Am at the moment, but he's way too far behind to unfortunately catch up with Pignata, but he should catapult himself up a couple of spots. Is this...
Sorry, I think you go.
No, you go ahead. I was about to say this McLaren battle has been going from the start, and they haven't been much further than about 3/10 away from each other.
Gibbons is very hungry. Right, and g'day to Sick Death in chat. How are you, mate? You can join us tonight, as we are on board with Viney at the moment, one of the Kovacs guys. See what he's going to do against Tate. He's having a look on the inside, and decides to go for safety. Play on for another corner. We'll see how this all plays out as Hudson, I don't know whether he got overtaken there. I wasn't really paying attention, or whether it just went wide.
Yeah, he was overtaken by Sanderson before that. He seems to be dropping.
Okay.
He was running P7.
Yeah, below Zach James. So there's a little bit of side damage. I don't know about the Ferrari.
No, Ferrari has seen better days. That side looks much better. Left is definitely better than right. Can confirm.
That is the side that you'd want to take pictures of, I think.
Yeah, I think that's why the camera's on this angle at the moment. Just ignore the tiny little bit of damage on the front of the splitter there. But the rest of the car looks good. Yeah, there's some
all
sadness.
Maybe that's what happened in lap 1 instead of turn 5. Might have been a little bit of that. Turn 5, turn 6. Oh, there's a... Oh, that's Sandeezy. He's around. And Justin Tate has kept it off the wall. He has. That's very lucky. Be careful of the rejoin here.
I'm not actually colliding with that car too. That was amazing reaction time there. Well done. Well done. Definite brown flag moment. I think I had one here, let alone one in the car. But, play on. That looked like it was well avoided nonetheless. He's done well to definitely keep that out the wall.
Yeah, and only lose 2 spots from it. That's a considerable... That's a good save, but that's not good for Sandeezy now. Down to 16th. It's him out of AM Championship contention.
Zach Malloy picks up an additional 5 seconds. I think that was for the extra boop there through turn 3.
The buy one, get one free boop.
Yeah, exactly.
The replay here. What happens to Sandeezy? Might have just clipped a little bit of curb, a bit of grass. Just drives that curb too much, and he's already lost it. Once it grips up, just tried to get going. That could have been a whole lot messier, I think.
Just have a look at Tate's reaction time here. Holy crap. It is insane. And he was actually mid-losing the car as well. Well done, sir. You can see it from Pete Viney's angle now.
And snap right there. Comes round. Oh, he just misses his teammate though. That was close.
Of all the places for somebody to win it, that is the worst place on this track for it to happen, because you're so on edge, you're pushing hard, and then there's all of a sudden a car horizontally in front of you. So great reactions by everybody involved there to avoid a major incident.
Yeah, I can't say I'd have the skills to dodge it like they did, but I'd certainly give it a crack.
Yeah, I think is you're going to have a bit of rotation on the steering wheel, and you're going to be chucking it left and then chucking it right. To jam on the brakes, or lift out. To be very confident that your car can handle it to avoid any contact. This battle here though for P5 is very nice and close. Since they've been battling Meddings, he's just been able to gap them. Gaps now 2.2, Meddings to Johnson.
As Octane has said, good to Sanson as well. He's managed to keep it pointing in the right direction. Control that car once hitting the grass with the S's. So yeah, props to all 5 of those drivers that were involved in that definite brown flag moment. They've all done their best to continue racing without colliding with one another. So hats off to all you guys.
It's interesting that Sandeezy we obviously saw the benefit of running in clear air. The field's still compressed. Runs across the start finish line as the leader's going to the hairpin on 7. So otherwise it's Sandeezy jump the box. He might have had some flat spots. Either way, still running in 15th.
I guess this is where the time of the race starts to play in. Of if you're in a battle like you see on screen at the moment with Gibbons and that, do you potentially just see if you can force that mistake, or if you feel you are losing that time frame, maybe it's time to extend the second stint and go for a longer second stint rather than like a shorter one?
As we see Floyd there, sorry, in the chicane, poking his nose in, making Samwise aware that there is a bigger bad Lexus right on his tail. Although he's been there the whole race so far, so I think he's very well aware. Just in chat, I see Friedrich pointing out that I'm back in the top 10. I wish, but I am commentating. I'm in the top 3 of the commentators at the moment, so that's going well.
Yeah, congrats on your commentating podium.
Cheers, thanks. But yeah, that's actually my brother who's running there. So, as we see Clark is very close to the back of Convoy here. Again, the chicane is not a place you want to send it, and he does the smart thing and backs off.
Clark's dropped a lot. Oh, Clark's dropped into pits there.
Yeah, I think he
Getting
might be
held
doing
up.
the hold-off strategy. Get out of there, get into that fresh air as we've been discussing. You might be able to churn out some good laps and potentially jump these guys through the pit stop strategy.
I think
Be
the
okay.
sorry,
comes
Rich.
out. No, that's all right. I think he should be okay by the time he comes out. He won't have the leaders right behind him. It's 10-second penalty, but you have to serve at your stop. Right. Transparent in the works there. We'll have to wait and see when he comes out.
So it's not the, from what I understand or from what I've seen, it's not the longest pit delay that you have out there, but I'm wondering if the hesitation from Sandizi and them for not pitting yet is worrying about coming out amongst the leaders in traffic. So it'll be interesting to see where Clark comes out as the leaders are approaching the final sector here, because that might play a role. When you're a blue flag, you'll definitely lose quite a bit of time letting the leaders through.
And certainly in the race, Blue, I had to let through. I think it was maybe the top 5 or 6 cars. Little did I know that there was a car that I was racing inside that bunch. I went deep in turn 1, let everyone through, and there was someone else in there. So, what's the spot? That's all right. Stuff happens.
The sneaky pass of the blue flag.
Yeah, sneaky pass.
Always that's a bit of a do you pit now or do you pit later, and you see Convoy getting right up and personal behind Chalmers. Letting him know, hey look, I'm going to go on the outside here, but not going to push it too hard, but stuff up, I'm going to have a piece. Sorry, you go.
Having done my fair share of races behind that fat ass Ferrari, it is not the easiest to overtake. Chalmers is a fantastic defensive driver. He's one of those drivers where when you're behind him, he'll make a bunch of mistakes until you're on his tail, and then he's O'Hara level perfect all of a sudden. As I say that, he makes me look like a fool and just gets overtaken. So
Because he's got the rain light on. That's what it is.
that must be slowing him down. The extra drag of the flash makes sense.
I think JC just pieced up that move well there. He sort of faint that he wasn't going to move, and then he was, then he wasn't. Chalmers there just didn't go to the inside, defend the apex. JC just decided, you know what, I'm just going to send it up the inside. It's a nice clean move, certainly alongside by the turning point. And just accelerate away. Gives a nice little gap. Just Bartlett here going through on Rochford. Good exit out of 5. Moves up the inside. It's a nice move. I think the tighter line doesn't quite get the apex speed. Rochford just hangs up with him. Strength of McLaren through the Schumacher races there, coming in the 4. Tate here still sitting in 12th spot. After his miraculous save and avoidance.
Unfortunately, JP didn't drive it. He couldn't drive before because surely you had a circuit breaker block, 2 blocks from your house or something?
Yeah, the main transformer just up the street blew up, you know. Island things, as we do.
Unfortunately, he couldn't race tonight and missed out. But to go on with some kind of success there, ACC does look fantastic at night. But more importantly, brother facts, Peter. Have we got any brother facts? Lay it across the chat.
Not too many. He's older and uglier, and that's about all the facts
That's all we
need
need
to
to
know,
know,
really.
is it? Yeah, that's all we need to know.
Pretty much sums it up, I would say.
Enough said in two facts right there. Bam, bam.
So it'll be interesting to see for the leaders here, because Floyd has been right up Holmes' chuff for the whole race. So would it be worth it him diving in, trying that undercut? I'm not sure if the undercut has been working all that well. I think Bakita tried it last night to very limited success. But you know, if he comes out in clean air and he can pump in a couple of quick laps, it might be a way to negate that little half a second gap that they've been dealing with for the past 23 minutes.
I dare say we're going to see some pits happening very soon. There's a couple cars having a few sneaky pits at the moment, but coming up to that midpoint of the race in the next 5 minutes or so, definitely strategy will be coming into that fact of will you go before I go? Is it that front car to make the first move sort of mistake that we sort of see in F1 occasionally? Will they do a fake into the pits to distract it but then continue on? That'll start getting interesting, I feel.
Just a shout out to Cornboy as well. I mean, after his lap 1 incident, he was behind the whole field. And there's a couple of cars that have pitted so far, but he's made his way up past 3-4 cars already. And he was a good distance behind the back of the field, so he's been putting in a major recovery drive so far.
Johnson's made a mistake on one of these laps. Meddings has been able to catch right back up to him.
That must be Meddings made a mistake. Meddings was in front, yeah.
I was to say Meddings was in
yeah.
P4, I thought. But
So Meddings is now behind Johnson. There must have been a mistake there somewhere.
I'm wondering if Gibbons was somehow involved in that, because he's dropped off the back of those two as well quite a bit, and he was very close behind Johnson for most of the race so far.
I'll just throw a snippet there that JC had got the move done on JLS, I believe. I'll update on the timing split in a second.
So Rachuti has also... The gap was up to about 3 seconds a little bit earlier. But he's closed it down to just under 2 seconds as well. So he's not completely out of this race so far in terms of the win.
What happens to Meddings here? Meddings. So Johnson has been banging in laps. Caught up to Meddings. Meddings has just gone a bit wide on the exit of the chicane, just picked up the bump. That was the invitation that Johnson needed to just stick his nose up the inside, get the move done. Around the last corner.
that little exit bump of that chicane has caught myself out a few times, probably along with a lot of other people as well. So just running that slightly bit wide, getting caught in the grass, will give that little bit of an opportunity with the car being that close behind to say thank you for opening up the door. I'm going to stick my nose in and thank you for the position. We jump back to Floyd. Hasn't been much further behind Holmes than that sort of half a second range for the entire first stint so far. Just biding his time, seeing where the Audi might be weak. As we know, Holmes has been driving absolutely exceptionally since like the last 3 or 4 rounds. And with that Audi, he's definitely made it one of the quickest things out there we've seen. Floyd might be looking as to, does he make a mistake? Should I go in the pits first? Is he going to dive this lap? That's the mind games.
That's so easy if you're being this closely followed and the guy dives in for an undercut. You start thinking to yourself, I need to push, and it's so easy to just over push a little bit and make a small mistake, lose a second here or so, and all of a sudden you come out behind that guy once the pit stops have cycled through. So it's a bit of mind games involved as well.
Yeah, I'm not that advanced in my racecraft to do those kind of mind games yet. I struggle to get tyre pressures right at the best of times, let alone do that kind of level of things. As Rashuti is still at that 2-second mark, just watching the battle up ahead, wondering what these boys are going to be doing. Still doing a fantastic job sitting in P3, enjoying some of that fresh air, just biding his time.
He's having a boring race, which, when you're in a good position, is the best type of race to have. No incidents, no battles, just chilling out, lapping, and scoring great points.
Getting in that groove, as we like to call it. Get your eye in, just consistency is key. let those around you make mistakes, and hopefully you can capitalise on them.
Exactly. Just to point out, Gibbons has dove in the pits, so it'll be interesting to see if that works out for him. He has nice clear air in front of him at the moment. So if he can bang in a couple of quick laps, he might be able to put himself in the middle of that Meddings-Johnson battle that's still raging on.
He's got a massive clear track ahead of him now, so he'll be enjoying the fact fresh air is going to benefit him. Let's see what happens in the next little bit with that. We jump back onto Clark, who is trying to get up onto the rear of the Bentley of Malloy. Gave him that little boop earlier. Play on.
So Sanderson and Bartlett diving into the pits. Pinata has been in the pits. It's showing that he's out on track again and he's running in P11, and Sanderson has sped in the pits. That is not ideal.
I think that might be a slam dunk. Thanks for coming. Won't, unfortunately, get the AM championship for this split. I wouldn't think, anyway.
So yeah, as just for those watching who are unaware, the game automatically hands out a stop-go 30 penalty if you speed in pits, but according to OR rules, that gets demoted to a 10-second time penalty, as you can see next to Sandy's name.
It's unfortunate the game does that, but one of the ways we do flag it, obviously we do watch the stewards to watch the speeding in the pits. Yeah, we are kind enough to rectify that down to a 10-second according to the rules, as you said, Pedro, which is quite nice, I feel. It's a good little balancer that doesn't sort of completely destroy your race if you are having a good one. Sometimes you can make up that period of time throughout the longer races like the one we are having here tonight at Nurburgring. Providing he can just get back in his rhythm, maybe forget about the pen, see what you can do, he might actually still do quite a decent job and maybe pull a few positions back even with that time penalty in there in the background. Floyd is still only half second, but he's doing the dive into the pits. See what happens now. Would this be the move of trying to freak it home and just pushing that slightly harder? To see if he does respond. We'll wait and see. Good entry by the look of it there by Floyd.
Duty following him in. So Samwise will be getting onto hammer time now, just for the Verstappen fans.
Yeah, what do you reckon, chat? Is Holmes going to come in this next lap, or will he continue on? What do we think? But you boys, preach. Is he in, or is he going to continue on?
I think he's probably going to run the even tyre strat. He's decided to go the extra lap. But I think he'll certainly be in next lap. Had him in the box last night, and he was talking about the fact that the undercut is certainly not strong, but clean air is certainly very strong. And we'll see, without having to defend now, see what his first split's like. Last time around was 55.1.
Age, what do you reckon? In, or is he going to continue?
I reckon you'd have to cover it, personally. Even though he might feel like he could put in some good laps, you don't know where Floyd's coming out. He might come out in clear air and just hot lap for 2 or 3 laps while you're on 30-minute old tyres. So I think the safe option is just dive into the pits and cover it off.
Yeah, as you can probably see there, chat, in the bottom right, looks like he's coming just out of turn 3 now. Floyd is out and on the track. I think he's only got 1 car ahead of him, which might be blue flagged, I'm not sure at this stage, but
I think they might be behind Chalmers and Johnson at the moment.
Oh, and we called it. He's coming in to cover the pit stop there of Floyd. What is the entry like?
fairly safe pit entry there. It's quite an easy pit lane to make. Ooh. So that's definitely costing Floyd not a lot, but it's costing him a couple of tenths. With Jason Leonard Scott there not jumping out of the way immediately.
He
So,
doesn't have to. He's not blue flagged. That's for position on track.
It
well
definitely
spotted.
is. Yeah, that'll definitely be a little bit of a cost that Floyd wasn't anticipating. But how much of a deficit that will be, I think at the term of the pit stop entry, he was about half a second behind Holmes. As we can still see, Holmes is in the pits on that bottom right-hand side of your screen. So will he have enough pace to get through these last bit of the track, the last sector, which is just the two corners, the chicane and the final corner? See how much pace he has coming down the main straight, and will he get out ahead of Holmes?
Oh, Holmes has got him.
Definitely not.
Benefit that Floyd has here is he has warm tyres. And with that first sector, you really want some nice sticky rubber underneath you. Lots of grip needed across through the arena section.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if Floyd had a poor pit stop or that little temporary battle with Leonard Scott there cost him, but he's lost out probably, what's that, 2 or 3 seconds?
Yeah, I'd say it's about 3 seconds or so. I think it was just more the fact that he came out behind Jason there and just couldn't get around him until after the hairpin, which is, you know, basically the entire first sector and almost half the track, which held him up, which allowed Holmes to gain that 2-second advantage, I dare say. Oh, there you go, updated split, 3.8 seconds. I think that might have been all that was written in that chapter, unfortunately. Now Floyd has to get head down and try and close that gap.
And I'm not sure if that is 100% up to date, but it seems as though Gibbons has cleared Johnson and Meddings. So his undercut certainly appears to have worked. But yeah, on the track map, Johnson is certainly behind him. And Meddings, I can't see unless he's directly under Johnson, but no, he's 7 seconds away. So Meddings must have had a nightmare pit stop.
It looks like he's battling with Pinard at the moment. He was only a couple of tenths behind. But yeah, Gibbons obviously came in that little bit earlier than the rest and had that massive clear road ahead. So he's obviously found his rhythm fairly early and managed to gap two cars, was it? 3 cars?
2, yeah.
2 cars, so he's done really well there.
So Jason Leonard Scott seems to be using the bender strat here. He's 35 minutes into this and appears to be the only car out on track that hasn't performed this pit stop yet.
Well, there
So
we go. There's some interesting numbers for you. Floyd outlap a 2:54.4 versus Holmes a 2:51, so that's where he gained the time. Thank you, Race Control, for that little bit of information. We can see that, and just unfortunate, I think when he came out of pits, just being behind that slower car on track, it cost him those vital seconds that he really wanted to go the other way, unfortunately. As Pinata is well and truly seeing all the details on the back of that McLaren. I'm pretty sure by now you could almost draw a picture of it from memory. As they go around turn 5, heading into turn 6, and then down to the hairpin. Probably be hoping for a good exit here on the McLaren, but it looks like Bryce got a very decent one as well. Play on as we come into the hairpin. Close enough to make a move, but we'll close the gap up just to let Bryce know, hey, I'm still here, don't forget about me.
yeah, as mentioned earlier, Pignata has the championship pretty much sewn up if he finishes where he is now, but I'm sure he'd love to put an exclamation mark on it and get past Meddings here to seal the deal in style by taking the Pro-Am win in the final race of the regular season.
Definitely would want to secure that if you can. Pretty sure is he leading the championship as well at the moment for Pro-Am? I'm not too sure on the actual point standing.
Yes, he is about 30 points clear.
He's done exceptionally well then. Probably just be waiting for his opportunity. Probably won't be doing anything too adventurous in terms of moves, knowing that points are still on the line here. You do get the lovely drop round here out of the 6 rounds we do have, but considering where they are sitting at the moment, this might not be one that he's considering dropping because it's your worst result. He might also be thinking that if he does have contact, he might lose it, but safety might be best at the end of the day. We'll have to see what happens between these two as the race continues on.
Yeah, so as it stands, Pignata will be dropping Bathurst as he only scored 12 points there, and Meddings scored 4 points in Kyalami, which will be his drop round. So they'll both be taking these points to the bank.
Yes, Janice, Gibbo's doing well, sitting up in P4 at the moment. His pit stop strategy worked to perfection for him, so he's done really well there. Doing quite decently. I think he's just over 9 seconds off P3, so there is time to close that gap. If Rashuti has any say in it, though, he'll want that gap to stay where it is. Potentially close the gap ahead. You might want that P2 position.
Yeah, I don't think Richuti is the type of guy you're gonna take 10 seconds out of 20 minutes. He's incredibly consistent, fast rider. So unless there's some sadness for either one of them, I think they're pretty much within it in the race.
Almost back to the fastest lap there of 54 dead.
Something satisfying about that for my OCD, just saying.
Yeah, 54.000. That's very satisfying. Managed to pull another 4/10 on Floyd in that lap. It's down at just under 3 seconds at the start of the last lap. It's now 3.4. Managed to pull a little bit more of a gap. 4/10 quicker. Hang on, he was 5/10 quicker in the first sector, 10th in the second, and then it was 10th quicker in almost every sector. Finally got there.
Numbers are hard.
They are.
So as it stands, the top 3 in the championship will remain the same, with Samwise taking the Pro Class win by a good 60 points. Floyd in second, and Gibbons will take third in the championship, with Richuti possibly clearing Sweet to take fourth. If Samwise's calculations are correct.
We see Kovacs on Kovacs trying to switch back on each other here. I want the position. No, it's mine. No, it's mine. But unfortunately, it looks like Rockford may have got the job done, as I'm reading the cars wrong there.
Replay here with Rochford, Cook Johnson and Bartlett. Come down the hill. Oh, and Bartlett just loses it slightly. What he was thinking there, didn't hit the brakes, but makes contact with the wall. Loses 2 spots in a heap of time.
Interesting spot there to sort of lose a car. Maybe he took a bit too much of that little inside curb there. Unsettle the nose and away she goes. As we jump back to the battle between Bryce and Pinata for P6 and the leading Pro-Ams. Bryce goes well right of the track to defend that line and position. And it does so, but almost a little kiss there. Does well to avoid. Has got the inside line for that. Oh no. There has been contact. That'll be taken to the booth for the stewards to deal with, I am sure.
I think that was actually very kind of Pignata there. He's just straightened him up. Maybe he's just gone a bit deep. Then he's go back underneath him and he'll try again.
Yeah, that looked like a bit of a yield of position there, so he may have felt he was done the wrong thing, so give it back and then play on. We'll leave that for the stewards to decide, unfortunately. I'm not putting my 2 cents in that chat.
Yeah, I think, you know, Meddings went defensive into turn 1. Pinata went the outside. There was a chance. There was a point where they were alongside, wheel to wheel, and just coming into the turning point for turn 2, just tripped over each other. Shields over walk, as you said, and see what comes from that. Right, Pinata just needs to try and get back on him now. Very committed under brakes. You see the replay here. Sort of almost alongside at the turning point. Oh, it's sort of half one way, half the other. Don't know whether Pinata was fully committed.
Yeah, but definitely some contact to be looked at. That's all right. The stewards team are well versed with incidents like that, so I'm sure they'll get to the bottom of that and give the appropriate penalty, if any, that is required there. As the battle continues on, they've been fighting now for quite some time, and if that's the only point of contact they've had so far, they've done an exceptional job regardless, as Bryce defends the inside line again, and Pinata tries to go around the outside. Hasn't got the exit he wanted this time, so just tucks in behind and sets up for another corner.
I think these guys have got to be careful though, if their battling gets too much. Zach James is lurking in the back here. Keep losing time.
So
It'll become a three-way battle.
having a look at the standings is quite fascinating because these 3 guys are all fighting for a top 3 at the moment. So Pinata is well clear. He has the championship pretty much sewn up if he finishes fairly well in this race. But currently, as it stands with the current positions, Meddings will still be free from Charles Clark and overtake Zach James by 4 points. So James will be looking to join this battle and get an overtake done because that'll move him up into P3 for the Pro-Am Championship.
You'll love to see it after 6 races, it be that close of a battle with 15 minutes remaining of the final race.
Heck of a lot to play out yet. Still 15 minutes to go.
So Charles Clark will be looking to make up a spot or 2 because in their current standings, Charles Clark will end on 260, Zach James 261, and Bryce Meddings 265. So quite a lot to play for in these last 15 minutes between those 3 guys.
So where would Clark need to finish? Well, what's 15th giving? He's in P16 at the moment, so in terms of points, is that enough to retain P3 overall? You can hear the numbers crunching inside PJ's head. We'll continue to watch the...
I think maybe on the spreadsheet that our race leaders provided to us.
So if he moves up to P15, he will be on 263, which will place him ahead of James, but still behind Meddings.
Interesting.
And I'm not sure, I think Meddings scored 2 points in quali, didn't he? Because he qualified P4.
Yes, correct.
So that'll give him 267. So yeah.
Okay, so Clark's got to get a few posies to try and keep that P3. And Bryce has to defend like all hell against Pinata, otherwise he loses a chunk of points and then it all goes out the window, unfortunately. So definitely a battle to keep an eye on the remaining 13 minutes. As we are still on Zach James at the moment, checking out this battle.
I think you mean fucking Zach James.
Oh, sorry, I forgot he's
It's been a while.
Name.
I was stopping myself from saying it. It's been a while and it's finally back. But yes, he's now within 1.9 seconds. So, as we said, Meddings might be holding up Pinata, which is in turn holding up Zach James. So, gotta be careful here. Zach James will love to get in on this though.
Just as this battle's unfolding, I've just had a quick look back at P1, P2. Floyd has managed to get that gap back down to a 2-second gap. So he is on a bit of a surge for Holmes at the moment. As Bryce have a moment. Play on.
Does well to save it and not lose too much there. But all these little tiny incidents is just more impetus for Zach James to get onto the back of this and get involved.
He keeps taking a tenth or two out of these two each lap, just slowly lurking in the distance there, trying to see where he can keep continuing to gain time, but these two battling, it's definitely helping his cause. Beautiful camera work there. Our drone cam of 323 is doing a fantastic job. Major pilot skills happening there.
The amount of details in these type of games is just astonishing when you just think about how far it's come and how quickly it's come this far. It's actually quite crazy.
Zach James has taken 5 tenths almost out of Pinata in that last sector, in the first sector of the lap alone. So he's certainly going to be right on the back of this, give it another lap or so. Drop towards the front here. Oh, and Holmes has made a mistake. Floyd's up into P1. Wonder what's happened there. We have no idea what has happened.
That's insane. I only just mentioned that the gap was closing, but damn, there definitely must have been something that had a bit of an incident as we flick to a replay, hopefully.
I'm going to hazard a guess that was the chicane. The chicane oopsie.
Maybe some Audi tings.
I actually think it might have been in sector 2, so it might have been maybe through the Schumacher S's. Based on his sector 2 time, which was 2.5 seconds slower than Floyd's. I think it might have been in that section as we see the replay here. Yep, coming up with the Schumacher S's. Oh, he's just been held up by a blue flagger. Oh no. Blue flag's car has tried to get out of the way as quickly as he could. It's just so unfortunate. He's gone wide himself. That's certainly not the spot you want to be catching up to a blue flagged car.
Yeah, that looks like it's a fairly unfortunate thing that's happened there. All good intents, I'm sure, from the blue flag car, but just not the place to do that move, unfortunately. Definitely, you wouldn't have wanted to see some brake lights coming out of the Schumacher S's. It's definitely not somewhere you would definitely be expecting to see that. So Samwise did exceptionally well not to make contact with that car as well. But unfortunately, it did allow Floyd to capitalise on that incident. I'm sure we'll see what happens with that maybe a little bit into the race. These things happen, unfortunately, and we move on as we go back to the Bryce battle.
Good news for Samwise is that doesn't really affect the championship too much for him, so he won't be. He'll obviously be gutted losing out through no fault of his own, but I don't think he'll be too worried about the end results there.
I think all in all, overall, he's done. Oh, as we see Pinata try and go for the outside move into the last corner, try and maybe do a potential switcher, and Bryce has had a horrible exit, allowing Pinata to capitalise, and he's already got the job done before the start-finish line. He's got the pace to get that little bit of a gap, so shouldn't be under threat from Bryce for a dive here, but he's still going to poke his nose there. James wants a piece of the action as well. Pulls right up on the rear of Bryce, says thank you, closing the gap for me, and you've had another little moment. Oh, there might be some door banging, but Rubbin's racing as he has the inside line into turn 3, and just from 2 little mistakes, Bryce loses 2 positions in just as many corners. But well done to those boys for having that close battle through that section. Very respectful in my eyes.
So with all of that chopping and changing, Zach, or shall I say fucking Zach James, has managed to put himself into P3 in the championship, it seems. Quite possibly. With Meddings dropping a couple of spots and James making it up. So yeah, this is turning out to be quite a spicy little finish to the season.
Still plenty of time to go as well with just over 7 minutes. So what's that, roughly 4 laps-ish, top of my head. Have to wait and see what happens. I mean, still many things to unpack for the rest of the race. I'm sure as hell know that those boys won't stop battling just because you made one whoopsies. As you can see, Holmes is definitely hungry to get that P1 posse back as the blue flag gets out the way for the boys. You kind sir, moving into turn 3. Status quo prevails, they're still holding position. Lexus is quite punchy though, but this Audi is no slouch. We definitely letting him know that he's coming for that position. A bit of a sneak peek. Not yet, maybe into the hairpin potentially depending on exits. It's his proper name, Diabols. I mean, we've just got to do it.
Yeah, the only closer gap in the field at the moment is down with Malloy and Clark. Down at 7/10. So that could be another good battle. JC's not far behind that either, so you'll want to try and range back up onto that battle. Rochford and Bartlett for P20. That's also nice and close. Super dark now. That part of the track. Not a whole lot of natural light now.
It's hard to make out what's going on or where the tracks are, but it does look fantastic nonetheless. Chicane scares me going through there. I can never seem to get it right. I just sort of throw it in and hope it sticks, I think, half the time, but these boys make it look easy. Lexus has definitely got the power on the straight over the Audi, but it looks at the moment, but I could be wrong. On the brakes, oh, that's a bit deep there by Holmes, but manages to pull it up before there's any boops and play on. I don't know, boys. It's hard to say who might have this for the end of the race. What, about 3 laps remaining. Could be anyone's game, to be honest.
Yeah, look, I'd have to put my money on Floyd. He hasn't really put a foot wrong so far, and he has the Lexus power, so it's putting him in a good position to just defend against Samwise down the straight. It's not the easiest track to overtake, as we've established. We see Sonicas here going for move on meetings on the outside of T1, not the easiest place to make that work, but it does set up the switchback some of the times, not in this particular case, as they'll continue the battle going into T2 there.
I think with my experience, the switchback really only works if you can compromise the car that decides to defend or goes the inside. If you try and just tighten them up really nice and close to the apex and get well underneath them.
I'm wondering if Price took some damage or something, because he's dropped right off now.
I wonder if his tyres... Yeah, I wonder if his tyres have gone off just towards the end of this race.
I was going to say, he had those 2 moments where he did get a bit sideways out of the chicane at the end, and then into turn 2 he may have just scrubbed them that little bit too much, and now he's starting to feel those side effects. I didn't really see if there was much contact when fucking Zach James went through, but let's get the name right this time. Yeah, I don't think there was any argy-bargies happening there, so there shouldn't be much damage, if any, on that McLaren, but maybe just the tyres, as you said, Preach.
A little bit of contact there. That'll be investigated, I'm sure, but seems as though they were side by side going into there. And these 2 guys cannot be separated thus far. Maybe another 3 laps remaining, including this one.
I think track position will win out here. That's what'll happen. Being in front. That's the biggest advantage you can have. You got to force. Floyd's gonna have to force Holmes to make a move. maybe in a spot that he doesn't want to. You can see how close Holmes gets under brakes into that corner. Takes sort of the less traditional double apex, doesn't hold it tight on the curb.
Just another little battle that's developed is one boy has joined the battle between Clark and Roy for P15 there. So Convoy's recovery continues.
Holmes is pushing really hard now. You can see he just dipped some wheels in the dirt.
That is one of the worst places to just make that small mistake because it costs you, as we discussed in quali, you just keep losing, and especially behind Alexis that has the legs on the straight. You can just see him slowly gap and gap and gap.
Looking at the time remaining, this will be the final lap of the race and do or die, so to speak. I don't think Holmes is close enough at this stage to even attempt to make a move unless he's decided to lick the stamp and send it. But as far as I'm aware, he'd be not wanting to do so.
I think he would have bought a $5 stamp if that's the case. He would have bought one of the more expensive
Sure.
ones.
Yeah, Floyd just has to place his car in the right spots for the next minute or so, and he'll be laughing all the way to the bank with his winner's check for the race.
I think Sam Weiss is going to use up all of his track limits, try and just get right onto the back of Floyd, see if he can't put some pressure on into final sector.
I'm not sure if the Audi is just magnificent under the braking or the Lexus isn't, but the way that Samwise closes up in some of the braking zones is quite astonishing, really.
I'm not too sure about the braking of the Audi. I've driven it a few times, but definitely not at the skill level that Holmes has got that thing wrapped up at the moment. I would say it's also a little bit of the person in chair as well in terms of the braking power. You never can factor that out depending on the car because everyone is good at what they do, especially these top end of the field boys. As we see Floyd come through the chicane for the last time and into the last corner. Holmes unfortunately not close enough to make an attempt, and as we come out, nice smooth exit for the Lexus, and he will cross the line for his win.
Leader has finished the race.
Holmes in P2, Rashuti will be probably fairly happy with his P3 result there. Unfortunately, Gibbons doesn't quite get the podium. Sorry, Janice, I apologise. But one hell of a drive considering with his pit stop and the amount of people he jumped doing that. Gets a solid P4 with Johnson in P5. Miata comes across the line for his P6 and the Pro-Am win. The moment in these last little bit.
Not quite yet.
Not
Oh,
quite.
not
Oh,
quite.
that was a compromising line.
By Zach James.
Please. I didn't want to be the curse. But he will get the Pro-Am win considering where he is sitting.
It's a bit of a form finish, I think, between those fellas.
Yeah, I think that was oops, sorry I scared you, but I'll just let you have that. I do apologise. And we see your brother cross the line for a P8, more than likely. With Meddings with that damage, if there was some, or maybe just cooked tyres for the P9. And Viney will get the job done for the top 10.
So yeah, based on those results, that makes...
Well, here we go. Clark's going to go for a move around the outside. It's not going to work for him, but was alongside Malloy. Had to go at the last corner. Wasn't going to pay off. Just too little, too late. Johnson here as we come around the last corner. Sandeezy will be ruining his little moment at Schumacher S's, losing him out from the AM Championship. He's going to drop a fair bit of time as well when that 10-second penalty hanging over his head. He's going to drop, I think he'll drop down to... There he is, he's in P20. That'll do us for Split Red and for AP as a whole this season. In the regular season, postseason to come, obviously.
Green light. Go, go, go.
Have a look at the results here. As we said, Floyd from Holmes, only by 4/10. Raschuti comes home P3. Gibbons P4 and Johnson P5. Over to Pro-Am. Pinata holds on from Zach James after giving a little bit of a fright. Meddings, with a little bit of that damage, just comes home in P3. In the AM class, Sandeezy does hold on, so he'll get the points there over Munoz and JLS. I think that'll do us, boys. What a ripper race that was. What's going on?
Fucking Zach James.
Zach James just indicating to the crowd there.
Anyway, guys, I think that wraps it up from my side. Great racing, not only tonight, but for the rest of the season. And it's been fun joining you lads in the box as well.
Yeah, been great being in the commentary box as well as being a race director for Blue. But congrats to everyone involved in AP for the Sprint Series, that now the job is done. I'm sure that if you've made finals, congratulations to all the podium sitters and all that. The points will be rectified and everything has been great. We've got EU in the morning and NA as well to come. But that is AP done and dusted until finals, gentlemen.
Yeah, I think we've got a week off for AP next week, and then we'll be back the week after. But on the weekend, Saturday night, round 2 of F1 Legends as well. Tier 2 starting at 6 p.m. Sunday night. So if you want to jump on the stream, have a good watch. Enjoy the very tight racing that we saw. Hopefully, it'll be similar to Bahrain. But yes, boys, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate with you all once again.
Thanks, guys. And reminder for everyone to just like and subscribe as you leave. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the finals.